another level.
Guys, Leah can do a Rubik's Cube in a minute.
I just have to say, I love that you get really excited when anyone can do literally anything. And that is such a beautiful thing.
The thing that I can't do. I cannot do that.
But anyone could do a Rubik's Cube. It's not, this doesn't make me like some sort of genius. And I appreciate you hyping me out, but like you can learn it on YouTube.
Yeah, I haven't. When I was a kid, I tried to literally, I was like, how do you solve this? So I started trying to peel it off and then try to put them all
That's
back
such a creative solution. That's actually, I think that's great. You really think outside the box.
You know, I really
cube,
do.
Whichever it is.
I really think outside the cube.
You do, and that's a beautiful thing. No, I don't think this makes me, I think this just makes me like extremely ADHD.
Right. Didn't you say that you need to be held by gunpoint
to get anything done, really? Yeah, literally. I don't know what it is. I need to have like multiple sensory things happening at the same time.
Right. You have to have the TV in the background when you're doing your taxes, something that you really hate. Yeah.
I just need to fill whatever space is possible with all the conversations in my brain, with all the different personalities. Like I need 800 people talking at the same time to drown me out. Mm-hmm. But it has to be sound that I'm okay with.
And how many people are there in
it's
there?
It's really hard to say at this point. I think I've lost count. It's a whole village, really. So many.
So you're
people.
raising a village. It does take a village.
Takes a village. Takes a village to undo a village. I'll tell you that much. There's just shut up. No, I think we're okay. We're sorry. There's just an internal fight about something. But no, he said there were no straws. Okay, so.
Oh, Tanner, what you got over there? You have something.
I got nothing. I got no straws. I got no straws.
Like telepathically knew you didn't have any straws. That's why I didn't ask.
Oh.
How did you do that?
Yeah, well, it's one of the voices.
It's one of the voices.
I don't have that ability. One of the voices does.
One of the voices does. But if you had to actually think about it, have you tried to unpack all the people in there? I feel like I've tried to.
I don't really have. I'm not schizophrenic, just to be clear. But not diagnosed, at least. All right, but actually, I really like. I like this podcast because I like that you were like, let's fuck the introduction. Who needs that? I love that. Okay.
Well, no, because we're gonna have an intro. We're gonna do the whole intro of like Leah Lamarr and face of Clubhouse, and Netflix is a joke, and like all
hilarious.
These okay. Showrunner, actress. Honestly, I had actually literally. You can do it all. So I literally have you literally do it all. You showrun, you write, you're hilarious. You sing, you act, you play instruments. You blow my mind. Like Babs and Lady Gaga had a baby. Yeah. I
love that you noted two singers.
But who are incredible.
I know. I love them both. The background on my phone is literally Gaga.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
And Barbara Streisand is actually on my close friends list. She doesn't know it yet, but if she ever took a peek,
she will.
It's just in case. It's just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case one day she's like, what's Leah Lamarr up to on her Instagram story? And she doesn't have a Finsta for some reason because she's Barbara Streisand. And
she probably has a Finsta, 100%.
I know. And then she sees, oh my God, I'm on this girl's close friends. I don't think we've ever met. This is odd.
Yeah.
I've thought about that many times.
No, so I'll do a proper introduction, but yeah, I just kind of like if we're flowing in a conversation, I'm just like
I just thought we were waiting to start, which is why I was like, and we're talking and we're talking.
No, but these are the I'm wanting to have like real conversations, like with people that I love and people that I've never met before. I just want to I've just been getting in there and it's been really cool. But
you sound like a gynecologist. Just been getting in there.
The sweaty balls. They're really giant balls. They're huge. I love tasting the sweaty balls. It's kind of, the SNL bit.
Yeah.
Just in case people don't know and there's no context whatsoever. You sometimes have to lean in the bomb,
mm-hmm.
When you're bombing, you just lean in and we'll all collectively acknowledge that wow, that joke landed flat and you just keep leaning in and then it's funny again.
I was going to say flat like my chest, but I'm wearing a bra that you got me. So they're so big.
They're huge.
Susie,
it's not possible.
There's one time I told Susie I had one bra, which to be fair is like a normal thing. And Susie...
It is not a normal thing.
Susie, for all intents and purposes, had a panic attack. And
you had
bought
one bra.
me 8 bras.
It was your birthday, technically. So also... You were borrowing your friends. You were literally like, hey, I
lost my one bra.
You lost your one bra, so you were borrowing your friends. So honestly, I was like, this is not okay. Go buy something. You're like, no, it's fine. I'm wearing somebody else's Fiona's bra. And I'm like, I can't understand this. Okay, I'm going to go out and get you like some normal undergarments. What is wrong with you? Come on. You're like, no, I have other things I just to do.
But the thing was that I had actually left the bra at your house.
Oh. And then, but then, funny enough, I ended up finding it. It was underneath. It was, it was like it was in the bathroom, hanging on under.
Yes.
The
it was
robe.
in a completely normal place. Everyone, get your minds out the gutter. I'm not a whore anymore. And it was a post shower.
Yeah,
it was a pre shower.
Yeah,
bra hang.
Yeah,
and I just forgot it, and that was all. And then I was braless.
Yeah.
And then Susie decided to get me bras that make me look like I've got titties for days.
But you do have
and
titties
I'm okay with
for
that.
days. Yeah.
Well, with this bra, I do. You just zoom on the tits. Thank you. Zoom in on the tits. Not the air horn.
DJ Khaled, another one. So Leah, we met on Clubhouse, and you were the face. You were the icon. You were when we met. You were. It was just. You were like the. You were sort of leading the charge of everyone was sort of in these pods. You couldn't go outside. It was during COVID. And Clubhouse became this huge thing that everyone would, just have conversations and connect. And it was a way of connecting without getting COVID and being like, oh, is it safe to go outside? And you were always so great. You were so funny. You had the best stories. You were so relatable. And I was like, oh my God, I love her. I want to be her friend. And then sure enough, like 6 months later, we were friends. And here we are, like one of my best friends in the world. And how was that experience of being on Clubhouse and like being the face of this like huge platform?
God, it was a really stressful period in my life. It also feels really bad because I was thriving while people were dying. And that is not a cool thing to say out loud. Like I just had the complete career level up. And I was just crushing really hard and I was working really hard. And I think having a cell phone addiction and then having a job that suited your cell phone addiction went hand in hand. And so I was just on my phone 24 hours a day, if not 2 phones at the same time, just going absolutely insane. And I was working very diligently to make sure that I was ever present. And I think my omniscience on this app made it so that I was kind of like, they had to choose me at a certain point. They actually were going to make me the icon 6 months prior to me getting it. And then they told me that I was going to get it. We had sent in photos and then it never happened. And they never said, hey, it's not happening. Hey, sorry, you're not going to get it. Even though they'd already told me I got it, which is really crazy.
Yeah.
I cried so much. I'd been giving my all.
Everything you
I
were
had.
there.
I went into a very deep depression after that because I was just so burnt out. Being on your phone that much is not healthy, but then plus it being tied to your livelihood and your social network, your friendships, your business partnerships, and also your ego. And then just being on it 24/7 like will burn you out. And you're talking constantly. That's so much energy. I don't recharge with people. I recharge alone. So for me to recharge by being with people, like there was no recharge. I was alone, sure, because we were all in quarantine, but I was constantly giving out energy over and over all the time. And then eventually 6 months later, they hit me back up and they're like, okay, we're going to make you the icon now. And I was like, are you? Because you told me that 6 months ago. Like, I don't trust this anymore. And when someone tells you they're going to give you an award or like, I'm going to buy you dinner and then like, I'm going to pick you up at 8 and then no one's outside your house to pick you up. And you're like, hello, are you coming to get me? They don't answer the phone. And you got ghosted on a date. Like that's what that was. So if like 6 months later, a guy comes back around and is like, hey, I'm going to pick you up. I can't wait to see you. Like we're going on a date.
Sounds like LA.
Literally. And I was just like, are you going to come?
Yeah.
Like, are we going on a date? are you sure you're going to make me the icon? Because I actually can't handle this again.
Yeah.
Like I recovered from it.
Yeah.
Not well, but I recovered and I was so sad. And I was like, if it's going to be me, like I need to know that it's actually me.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally was. But it was anticlimactic because it also followed the death of a friend.
Damn.
And then people on the app wanted him to be the icon, even though he didn't want his image, his likeness used. So he physically couldn't have been. It was so, and they were like, well, we also don't want to set the precedent that every time someone dies, they become the icon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, which is also crazy, but it's like, it was just like a very bittersweet time to become the icon. And while I was so excited, it just felt so tainted.
Yeah.
It got tainted by my friend's death. It got, and it's like, we were in mourning.
Yeah. And then you're like, yay, I got the icon.
And I at the same time, I was like, I was supposed to have this 6 months ago. And like, I think that timing would have been a little bit better. Do you know what I mean? Just like,
sure.
I mean, but nothing happens on the timeline that you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So it all happened as it unfolded. And, you know, a lot of the other icons had been the icons for like months. Like I think Axel was the icon for like almost 6 months.
Yeah.
Abraxas, he was like 4 or 5 months. And then when I became the icon, everyone was only the icon for 1 month.
Wow.
At a time. And they would change it. So it's like the wind kind of got taken out of my sails a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It was still incredible.
You had the most, you had a huge platform. You had the most followers. You were crushing it. And
people just don't see the downside. Like they don't see the, like people will just see your face was the icon and you don't know how much I was hurting the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we talk a lot about that, like the underbelly of the fantasy of getting the thing that you want. So our fantasies and nightmares are intrinsically linked. So it's like, you know, if you haven't worked out like this thing of like, oh, finally, you know, I'm going to get this thing. And then when you finally get it, then you're like, oh, I didn't think that there would be there would be this and there would be that. And this is not what I thought it was going to be. Yeah.
So. I had a string of bad business partners. People who wanted my attention because I was rising at that time.
Crushing it.
When no one is around to help you, and especially when we're during the pandemic, no one's going to in-person meetings. Like, it just wasn't the same energy in the entertainment industry. You know, and at that time, I think I was like, I don't think I had reps or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I had reps previously, but then the pandemic happened, and then I dropped some people for reasons we'll talk about offline. And so then, I was kind of in a free for all because when you rise that quickly, like it was skyrocketed up.
Skyrocket. Yeah.
And no, you don't have the support system, A, or B, anyone to guide you, you get lost.
Yeah.
So I got into bad business arrangements.
Mm-hmm.
I took deals because I didn't know I could say no.
Mm-hmm.
Or I didn't know that it was a bad deal. You know, so there were a lot of things that just happened that if I could go back in time, I would try to maybe like assemble the Avengers better. You know, I'd be like, okay, I need a lawyer. I need who's like dedicated to me.
Sure.
And is not someone who's like doing a favor and gets back to me 2 weeks later. Like, and I need like a manager I can trust.
Right.
And
that's challenging in this industry.
Susie, I had a manager. Okay, so literally right before the pandemic, there was this show that I was obsessed with on E called What the Fashion. Morgan Stewart was one of the hosts and she was leaving and they were trying to replace her, which is crazy because Morgan Stewart is like goddess icon. Mm-hmm. She was ready to move on to something else. She was doing Daily Pop. And one of the other hosts had left, so they were replacing him first. Mm-hmm. And then the plan was to then replace her. Mm-hmm. So they had like a bunch of positions of hosts open. And I'm like, this is literally Joan Rivers' show. You know what I mean? It's fashion roasting. Bitch, put me in, I'm ready.
Yeah. You've been waiting this your whole life.
I get to look glamorous and then like roast people. Like, put me in, bitch. I'm here for this.
I wish we have to pull up, Tanner, can you pull up?
I will send you the compilation reel.
Literally, wait. Pull up Leah's Instagram with the pink outfit and the sunglasses. It is one of the, I picked Leah up at this event and I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
I didn't post it because I never got any photos from that day.
Whoa! I thought,
No.
wasn't there a photo with you? And
Yeah, I didn't get photos from any event. I went to 4 events that day and didn't get any of the photos.
Lady Gaga, eat your heart out. This outfit was epic. Can you show?
Yeah.
Hold on.
I mean, it's crazy because I literally did not take photos because I was like, there are all these professional photographers at all the events I'm at. Can't wait to get these photos.
Okay, so the manager. Sorry, back to the story of the manager. I interrupted with this amazing outfit because it is just. They were silver boots with these silver giant bee glasses with this hot pink dress. It was yes, yeah, guys. This is amazing. Wait, I live. Oh wait, what? Oh man. Okay, well,
I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Just remind myself to.
It was amazing. Amazing. You crushed.
Thanks. What were we talking about?
The manager.
Oh, okay.
Assembling the Avengers.
Oh, right. This was just a detour. Okay. So this manager, I had told him. This was a while ago. Obviously, I dropped him. He betrayed my trust so much and was just okay. Anyway, so I told him I got a tip that E is taking general meetings with female stand-up comedians because they are looking to fill positions on 2 shows. Can you get me a meeting? Of course. Okay. He forwards me an email like a week and a half later, something like that. And he was like, here's your appointment details. And I'm like, oh my God, great. Like he's the best manager. I scroll down through the email because he left the chain. He had tried to send someone else in front of me that wasn't even a comedian.
That's.
And they were like, sorry, we're not interested. She's not a comedian. And he's like, what about Leah Lamarr? What about Leah Lamarr? What about I gave you this fucking tip? What about I said they're looking for general meetings with female stand-up comedians? And then
how did you find this out?
Because it was in the email thread. He didn't delete it. It was in the chain.
Oh man.
He's sloppy.
That's sloppy.
And then he was like, I need to come with you to the meeting. And I was like, I'm okay. I don't need to be babysat. You know what I mean? Like I need to just go in there and do my thing. It's a general with a casting. I've never heard of a manager coming to a general with a casting director.
That's wild. Yeah.
And I was like, I really would like to go alone. He's like, think about it. And I was like, I thought about it. I want to go alone. He's like, we'll talk about this in a week. A week later, he's like, what do you think? And I was like, I want to go alone. He was like, I think I need to come with you. And I was like, I can do this myself.
Yeah.
And I think he just really wanted to have that one-on-one connection with this casting director. Like he wanted to meet them. And I was like, I really think I'm fine to go out by myself. And he was like, gonna be honest, I think I need to be there. And I was like, you know what? Fine. I don't know why I'm having to fight you. Like he's not taking no for an answer, which like is something you want in business, but not in your personal life. Like no means no. So I finally was like, fine, come. He comes 20 minutes late, drenched in sweat, didn't say a word, almost ruined the meeting. And I was like, oh, did you enjoy coming to this meeting that you forced your way into? And then, which for me was like an analogy for never trying to force your way into something.
Yeah.
I feel like it was karma, honestly, for him trying to pitching someone else in front of me.
Yeah. Los Angeles, huh? Am I right?
I ended up.
I love. There's a lot.
I ended up shooting 3 episodes of that show.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but what an asshole.
Yeah. So he didn't. So he was. We moved on from him shortly after. Yeah. It's weird. There's weird behavior. There's weird. You know. It's. How would you describe it? It's like it's Peter Pan a bit. T.
Yeah, I mean, immaturity is rampant here in LA.
I mean, it was
because I'm like bizarre. The industry. I mean, look, there's a lot of like, I met you, like you're one of my best friends, and you know, I've met some incredible people that I'm like so grateful for. But I think when you have like a lot of amazing people, I feel like there's going to be that balancing act of, you know, like some weird shady managers who do some weird shit. Like, where's P. Diddy at? You know what I'm saying? What is the story? What is happening with that right now?
I thought this podcast was supposed to be about me.
It is. It is.
Why are we bringing up Diddy? I've never met the man. I'm innocent. I have nothing to do with him. I don't even own baby oil. I'm not part of this tribe.
Great. Moving on. Well, no, we talk about anything and everything. So it's sort of like wherever the conversation goes, but it's also, it does focus more like, it's all focused on whatever you guys want to talk about. So
I think we should circle back to the baby oil.
I like how during the pandemic, everyone was hoarding hand sanitizer and toilet paper and masks, and Diddy was just hoarding baby oil.
That was weird. I don't know if you saw the Max Goodrich, his viral. It was so good. I reposted it where it's like him just walking up. He's like, hey, so it's like, hey, like he's like going to get some water at Diddy's house, and he's like, hey guys, I'm gonna just get some water. Opens this entire thing of baby oil. He's like, you know what? No, I'm okay, and like walks away. He's like, no, yeah, I think I'm good.
Well, there's no other way to make a homemade slip and slide.
Apparently, they found 764 dildos in his house.
That's insane.
Is that enough?
I don't think he was reusing
Is that enough?
them.
Is that
Yeah.
Is that enough? Well, no, I was just talking about like the weirdness of, LA culture and life, that it's like a part of the culture and life. And so if you're, we're going to talk about weird managers, I feel like Diddy's definitely, part of like the weird culture of Hollywood and,
I'm not important for him to have tried to sexually harass me, so.
I'm kind of glad that we both were not invited to the white party and didn't have to, deal with any of that. I'm kind of grateful about that.
Yeah, I'm still an anal virgin. It's like, some things are priceless.
So more importantly, you had a really cool show, How to Trap Your Soulmate, which I thought was really exciting that I wanted to talk about. How does one trap a soulmate? First of all, I want to hear all about it if you can talk about it. But also, you found love in a hopeless place and like literally found your soulmate. So how does that happen? So like what were the patterns before and then after of, what shifted, what changed?
So How to Trap Your Soulmate is a new show that I'm doing for the New York Comedy Festival this year, November 12th. It is a comedy show, obviously. So don't think that I think that you can trap a soulmate. Clearly that's oxymoronic.
But it was a catchy title.
But it's a catchy title. And it's interesting because I met my husband kind of like right after all of the craziness of Clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
It was like Clubhouse was just starting to fall off because the world was opening back up.
Mm-hmm.
And we all knew, we thought it was going to last forever. And then the second the world started opening back up, it's like everyone just wants to be with people, IRL,
Mm-hmm.
And we had that hard realization of like, okay, things are going to start to dwindle.
Mm-hmm.
And I also, at that time, was very much of the mindset where if you leave LA for any reason at all, everyone will forget about you forever. So that means like if you go on a trip for 3 days, like you've quit your career.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how crazy I was and how completely obsessed with working constantly. But then again, you do have to have a work addiction to make it in this business.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't, I don't know anyone who's just had like a string of luck and not worked tirelessly.
Yeah.
It's like luck comes with hard work and opportunity at the same time. And also if you're an Nepo baby, forget everything I just said. But I was going to go do the Dubai Comedy Festival, which I was very excited about because I thought I was like the only Jew in Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, am I going to get kidnapped? And, but like in a fun way, because I love escape rooms. And
right.
I'll get out. I'm like, try to test me.
Wait, by the way, total sidebar. Leah has probably played the most escape rooms maybe ever. How many escape rooms have you played? Is it like 300?
So it's crazy that you said that because I posted on my story the other day that I had played my 299th room. And I was like, who wants to play my 300th room with me?
Right.
And then this girl that I know from the internet who's also an escape room enthusiast, messaged me and she's like, oh, we're playing 500 soon. And I'm like, right. Like there are people that are way more.
Wow.
I've only been doing this for 2 years. Don't do the math. But
wow.
Don't do the math. Because if you do the math, it's technically every other day.
Every other day.
Don't do that because that feels bad. But so people who are at home listening in are thinking that I have some sort of like deranged brain. You're correct. But
you also do Rubik's Cubes on stage. Like it's like literally.
I just started doing that. And I think it's more for me than the audience because I don't know if they actually like it.
So what are they? So
you know what they say?
Wait. So wait, do it right now. Like as you're talking to me, what is it? Like
well,
how does that
mess it up?
Okay, I don't know.
She like moved one piece and she's like, it's messed up.
It's messed up. See, I don't know. You know, like honestly, it's easy for you, but this would be really hard for me.
It's only easy it's like a language. So once you learn the language, it's easy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like anything else. It's basically a series of algorithms and patterns. And if you memorize, I'm just gonna mix it up a little more because I'm not looking. But so this is like anything else. It's like learning a language, right?
Wow.
So basically, a Rubik's Cube is just a series of algorithms and patterns. And once you memorize all of them, you can do it from any point forever. And it's just easy because you know the algorithm. And so I started doing it on stage and I started doing it with crowd work. And I thought it went pretty okay. And then I was like, well, what if I do it with material? So then I started doing it with material. And I tried this at a show
This is so fascinating.
Burbank.
I am so fascinated by it.
I tried this in a show at Burbank at Flappers the other night. And this like hilarious white woman who is avoiding her husband, they've been married for 30 years. I guess she like comes to Flappers every Friday night to have spaghetti and meatballs and a glass of wine. And I had her mix it up. And then afterward, I like finished the Rubik's Cubes while doing jokes and talking to her. And she was just like, that was fabulous. I just loved it. And I was like, did you? Like, was it fabulous or was it just weird? Like, is this just for me so I can play an escape room while I'm on stage? Like, is this for anyone but me is really the question.
So it's meditative. It takes your mind. It helps you be in the present moment without like all the voices like talking of being like.
Every time I'm listening to a 6-minute long voice note from Susie, I'm also doing a Rubik's Cube.
That's amazing. By the way, when I left you a 6-minute voice note, I was like, damn it. Oh no, I left it too long. I just went on a
No, my favorite is that you always say, you're never going to listen to this.
No, because I was like, I'm sorry, and you're never gonna listen to this, and oh my god, yeah, it was so embarrassing. Yeah.
No, but the thing is, you do it all the time. So I've learned now that I can just read them.
I was gonna say, I bet you she's just gonna read it, and that's literally what I thought. I was like, she's just gonna read it. It's gonna be fine. Because I can't text that much to explain like a story or a situation. Wow, guys.
It's not that big of a deal.
Tanner, I think it is.
If I was hula hooping while talking and doing the Rubik's Cube, I would be like, give me a fucking trophy.
I literally think that might happen in your near future. I think that will
my hips are really stiff. They're not Shakira hips. They are not. They're just.
So the hips lie?
Yeah, the hips are aligned. They're having a hard time. They're not aligned. It's brutal.
Oh my God.
Tanner wasn't impressed.
My mouth is agape.
Thank you. I know. It's amazing.
I don't see any saliva.
You know what I feel like? I feel like overachievers. Like, okay, like when I listen to you,
I don't see any saliva on that chart.
when I listen to you and Whitney Cummings, I feel like there's a friendship made in heaven that's like needs to happen. Just for my sake, just because I feel like you're both overachievers. You know, come from similar backgrounds and beautiful and talented and really funny. And I feel like, yeah, I feel like, you know, I think that's really impressive. I think a lot of things you've done are very impressive. But
first of all, I just want to say Whitney is incredible. She's so funny and just a brilliant business person and a brilliant artist. And like, she's just it. She's the whole package. But so funny.
I think it's awesome.
A literal toy. But okay, I'm like A, B, C, D, and Susie's like, oh my God.
Honestly, look. I think it's marvelous that
I just
we're
can't take
alive.
a compliment. So can you just move it?
No.
Can you
Okay,
keep
where
it
does that come
moving?
from? Let's unpack this.
No, I also want to unpack the word. I don't like the word overachiever.
Oh.
You can't achieve more than you're capable of.
Hmm.
You can't achieve over what you're capable of. So I think the phrase has always bothered me because when I was a kid, everyone would always call me an overachiever. I'm like, achieving over what? Your expectation of me?
No, but you know,
this isn't on you. This has been like something that's always, well, I'm just like, why does that word exist? Like, why are we saying that?
you know what I think it is? It's like, is that the success no matter where you get to? And I talk a lot about, I talk about that a lot on the podcast, that it's like, even when you're at the top, it's still like, oh, there's still more. There's still more to go. There's still another thing. So I think when I use the term like overachiever is sort of like figuring out that balance of wanting to do great things. So like I'm like the part of me that thinks about like, wow, I'm so grateful to be alive. Like this whole experience, like this whole simulation and this whole look, I mean, I'm kind of thinking like it's a bit of a simulation, but
no, Susie, it is.
Yeah.
And I'd like to talk to the 9-year-old girl who has my game controller. Why would you choose for my knees to hurt when I wake up? It's like that's such a specific, odd choice, and I am taking it personally. And I would like for that to stop. Thank you. Sorry, what were you saying?
yes. So no, but I think like what a gift, what a gift of like being here and to be healthy when you're healthy and to have, to be able to like sit here with you and like talk about these things. Like, I don't know. I'm like thinking about it, that it's a gift, and what a gift that you can do this, because I can't do this. Like, I mean, I haven't spent any time trying to figure it out, but I think I like literally was like, I don't want to do it. Like I just literally go, nah, we're good. Like I was there with an escape room and you were like, Susie, try this. It was like, open up the box. And I'm like, I did it, right? So, I mean, eventually I think I got the flow of like the escape room later, that I wasn't like some drooling dog. But like, but I do find it fascinating. Like I do find greatness like really cool, that you might not think it's great or like interesting or whatever just because you do it all the time. But, not everyone I know is up on stage solving a Rubik's Cube and solving world problems while doing a comedy routine.
I'm just having fun.
I think it's fun.
I'm
I think it's
actually
great.
just having fun for the first time on stage in a while.
That's awesome.
I feel like there have been a lot of times where I've watched my soul leave my body while I'm telling jokes, where I'm just on autopilot. And you might not really know that I'm on autopilot, but my brain is literally thinking about what I want to have for dinner. And I'm talking at the same time. And that's crazy.
And can people see it? Do you feel
that's what
the
I'm saying.
audience?
I don't think people really can tell because I'm still giving it my all. My physicality is there, but I'm just dissociating completely. And so
when do the shows, like when you're crushing, what's the difference of you crushing at a show? Because I've seen you fucking crush. And like, what's the difference of like when you leave your body and like what happens? What's the psychology that's happening in your mind?
real quick, Tanner, can we make a bullet point of subjects that we have touched on and never finished? So let's start with overachiever, escape room.
You got it.
We have to come back to how to trap a soulmate. We definitely have to come back to that, which we just totally, look, we do it all the time. We're bookmarking.
Okay, I just want everyone to know, the listeners, the viewers deserve to know the truth about Susie. The truth about Susie is we will probably have a 9-hour-long phone conversation and not solve any problems.
But sometimes we do.
But we've talked about, no,
we did it the last one.
I only let you think that we did because I needed to go to sleep. That was it. I was like, oh boy, we're going to pick this up later. And that's that. I just decided to agree. I was like, I don't have that dog in me right now.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I mean, this is why I got a podcast, so we can all talk about it. I can talk for hours.
Yeah. So what I'm going to say is this podcast might go on for a couple of days if you're willing to stay here. So Tanner, I hope you brought your sleeping bag. But
we're going to bookmark it. So we'll have the bookmarks where we come back to in this.
I also want to let people know I had a trauma right before I got on the podcast.
Yeah. We can. Do you want to talk about it? Or we could talk. We don't have to like talk about it directly. We can talk about like, here's what's interesting about relationships or just like work relationships is they can be complicated and people can not like you or not and do really strange things for a variety of reasons that usually have nothing to do with you. It's like for whatever reason. There was an interesting when I was talking to Erin when she was on the podcast where we both went to this therapy experience called Hoffman, where one of the exercises was people had to come up to you and tell you why they were triggered by you. And the majority, and so I had a long line of people. Everyone else had like 2 or 3 people. There was me with just a long line. But here was the interesting part was I was expecting like, oh, fuck, like I'm going to be hearing all the terrible things about myself. And it was, it was 1, I made it about myself. Fair enough. And 2, I was late and I was like, yep, well, there you go. And so those things were like, I was like, that's fair and I can fix that. And
Tanner's just writing on a board.
I love it.
It's like a kill list.
It's
just
kill
all
list.
the things.
So, but what was really interesting about that was other people like, hey, you remind me something randomly, like you remind me of my mother, you remind me of this girl I dated, and all these things that had nothing to do with me, or you remind me that I can't be on my, parents' Christmas card. And I'm like, these obscene things that people make up in their heads. So I feel like the situation that we were talking about earlier today was one of those situations where it was just like, you didn't do anything wrong. And this person just decided to make your life difficult for no apparent reason. Like it was just...
the stunning thing about life too is that even when you ask for truth from someone, if they're unable to give it to you, you are left empty-handed. You are left but with no choice but to just walk away. And there's no resolve and there's no peace. And the only resolve, now that I'm less heated about it, and I will say, like, I got out of my Uber and walked up to Tanner and I was like, I'm on the phone and I was in a heated conversation, and I never do that. Mm-hmm. I never let people know that something wrong is happening because I grew up in a household where nothing was allowed to be wrong. I had to be a perfect child. I had to be quiet. I had to be like, I stayed in my room. I just did my homework. I was a straight A student. I never had feelings. I never talked about them. If I did, it was all just to myself. Everything just stayed here. And now as an adult, I'm like slowly allowing people to see the truth, which is that like I have human experiences.
Totally. Yeah.
But also I find it unprofessional for other people to hear you having uncomfortable conversations or whatever it is. And like, I barely know Tanner, but what I know of Tanner, like, he seems like someone who would just be like, something's going on, I'm going to give her space, which is exactly what he did.
He's one of the most
which I'm so appreciative about, by the way.
Emotionally intelligent people I've ever met.
Yeah, but I, in my heart of hearts, was like, I don't want anyone to see this version of me, especially someone like Tanner, who's like a sweet, good guy. Like, I'd almost rather have someone who's a piece of shit, me being the non-judgmental person that I am, see me in a hot, heated conversation and be like, yeah, who the fuck are we killing? Like, what are we doing? Blah, blah, blah. Because I don't like ruffling feathers, and I don't like showing that I'm angry, and I don't like having feelings in front of other people. It makes me really uncomfortable. And anyway, it all happened right before I got on the podcast, and then, we were all chatting and blah, 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 and then everyone tried to make me feel better, which was really nice, whatever. But,
feelings. I hate that.
Yeah. You, what are you crying?
What's
you
that?
Loser.
Trap my soulmate.
But I think the thing is that I was on a heated call.
Yeah.
And I actually almost never have heated calls. But I've thought to myself too, I think, actually, last night, my sponsee and we finished his 12 steps last night. And it was interesting because when you do the steps with someone, I've done the steps, but then when I was doing the steps with him, like you learn a lot from someone else's experience too. Because what you realize is we're all very similar.
Yeah.
We all have very similar triggers and things like that. And I was like, oh, I feel unsafe letting people know that I have a voice, that I am allowed to take up space.
Yeah.
And that's such an old childhood wound. And I literally was like, I'm done with that narrative.
Yeah.
And so then I was on the phone with my friend and like, I wasn't screaming at him. I don't scream at people, but I was furious, you know? So for me, that looked like me being really stern and saying, do you think it's fair that I'm being treated like this, that I don't get to say anything at all, And it's like, oh, why was I so afraid to say that? Yeah. And why was I so afraid to have someone else hear me say that? But yeah, all that happened right before we got here. And I'm feeling like really proud of myself for speaking up for myself. And I actually did say to him, like, do you think it's fair that I don't get to stand up for myself at all?
Yeah. What did he say to that?
Well, we had to get off phone.
Oh.
But it's not a conversation that's going to resolve itself. Yeah. Also, everyone in this town is really looking out for themselves.
But it's you know, I feel like this town is,
and that honestly, fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, this business is hard enough. If you're going to be loyal to people, it's probably only because they are your best friends or people that pay you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And so, you know, this is someone I would consider like in the friend circle, but I understand where I rank now, and that's okay. You know, it's like, okay, fine. Got it. Thank you. Thank you for the info. It's okay.
Yeah. And what was really interesting is you were willing to be like, to take it on the chin and say, hey, you know, was there something, had I wronged you? Let's have the
with the other person. Yeah.
So like, let's have the hard conversation.
Yeah.
You know,
I opened it up.
I don't know, like you were really vulnerable. And I think that that's always, you know, something that I do in my life and with my friends, and having the hard conversation. It's like, hey, like, you know, we've had them, you know, where you're like, hey, so I noticed this, that, you know, sometimes because I can get very excited, and I've been working on, especially having a podcast. I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen and I'm not going to interrupt. And I'm just going to listen. I'm going to try. And sometimes I just get really excitable, and I'm just like a golden retriever energy, like just really excited. But no, it's definitely like this podcast has been teaching me, but we had that conversation of like, hey, like when you do this, it makes me feel like not seen. It makes me feel not heard. It feels like I'm paraphrasing, but like railroading, or it's like I'm making about me. And so I'm like, oh, fuck, you're right. I'm so sorry. Like I can see how that can make you feel that way, you know? And it's like, sometimes I just get so excited and I just want to get in there, and I'm like, ah. And then I took it on the chin, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to make you feel that way. What are the 12 steps? No, because I want to hold on. Because I want to.
What is Christianity? Do you know anything about religion? Can you tell me everything about Jesus?
No.
I'm not in AA. I'm in Al-Anon, which is a separate program. It's a sister program to AA. It's for friends and family members of alcoholics. And I mean, if you don't know what the 12 steps are, please Google it. But it's a 12-step program. It's a different way of living.
No, I was just interested about the conversation you were having where with your friend, where you were just seeing, you know, this mirror of, oh, we're not that different. So I was like trying to like,
no one's that different.
Yeah.
Like what you realize is that we all have like everyone feels like their problems are specific to them and no one has ever gone through it. Like when you go through a breakup, everyone's like, no one else has ever gone through a breakup before.
Right.
Like no one else has ever felt this pain that I am feeling. Right. I'm having the worst breakup of all time. Like when my car got totaled, I'm like, can you believe this happened? No one's car has ever been totaled before. No one, like when your house burned down, I'm sure you felt the same way. Like it's like anytime something happens or you feel victimized or, you know, everyone really does go to this like victimization place. And also like, I can't believe I'm going through this. I'm the only person who can, like, no one can understand what I'm going through. But basically everyone can understand what you're going through because when you break down what a trauma is from, it goes down to a basis of a few different things, of different needs. And that's why like all the 12-step programs basically go to, they all fill the same void. And it's like, you do not feel like you are enough. You do not feel like you are loved. You do not feel like you were seen. You do not feel like you were heard. You do not feel safe. You do not. So like all those like basic needs that you have as a child, if they weren't met when you were a child, then you start to have consistent traumas relating to that need that was never met. And then you don't know how to act based off of any trigger that triggers that deep cut. So I know for me, oh God, I have so many.
Let's get into it.
No. I mean, it's interesting because when you talk to someone who seems completely different from you, but let's just say like someone messed up your coffee order and you're having a bad day and you're like, oh my God, can you believe it? And then I'm like, what happened? And you're like, but you're already having a bad day. You're like, this guy messed up my coffee order. And I'm like, you're not really upset about the coffee order.
Yeah.
You're upset about the things that happened earlier that day.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're projecting that feeling onto this coffee order. Because if someone had just messed up your coffee order and you were in no rush and you were having a fine day, you'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. I asked for a soy milk if that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, like, could we just...
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah.
But then everything compounds.
Yeah.
And that's also like when you do like scene breakdowns. I don't know if it's ever happened to you in acting classes, but you would read the scene and you would analyze the scene and we'd be like, so what is this scene really about?
Right.
And that's the same thing with trauma, or like you're hitting a wall because it's finally like, you know, usually when people get into big fights, it's not the straw that broke the camel's back that's the problem. It's like 6 months ago, you cheated on me and I can't let go of it.
Mm-hmm.
So because you didn't replace the milk in the fridge, I still don't think you love me.
Right. Yeah. No.
Right? Like,
totally.
So all these triggers are things from the past. So basically, like,
I had an ex who, like, I went away and like he didn't water the plants, like, or in one of my plants.
He let your love die?
He let my love die. No, legit. But it was like, it had been a long time coming of all these little things that had, you know, happened over and over and over. And I was like, there it is. The plants weren't watered. You let it die. And I was like, wow, you know, the metaphor wasn't lost on me, but it was also like.
No, that one specifically was about the plants.
Yeah, no. And he's like, I'm just not a plant guy. And I'm like,
so you're just not you're not a Susie girl. Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Yeah. He didn't put the oat milk in the, you know, whatever.
Oof. Brutal.
But yeah, no, it was all the other things leading up. You know, it's never about like the thing. Yeah.
Right. But that's also the other thing is that, so my sponsee, we are very different. Mm-hmm. Extremely different people. Mm-hmm. But everything that he has ever brought to me, I can relate to.
Yeah.
Because it's really a relationship problem.
Yeah.
Or it's most things are like interpersonal relationship problems. Mm-hmm. So it comes down to communication and fear. Mm-hmm. And how people respond to both of those things.
What would he say in this situation of like the previous, the sponsee?
What do you mean?
With the situation that
He's
we came in.
He's my sponsee.
Huh?
He's my sponsee. I'm his sponsor.
Oh, sorry. I thought you... Got it. Right. You're the spot. Like you're okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought
no. It's interesting because my sponsor, I would consider we parted ways a while ago for work. Just she had no availability, so it was like we weren't ever going to be able to work on it. Mm-hmm. That happens all the time. Mm-hmm. And I would say she's like I specifically was like I want her to be my sponsor because we're so similar. Mm. What we realize is like you don't need to be similar to someone for them to understand you.
Sure.
You know, like my sponsee and I are super different. My sponsor and I were very similar. But, you know, it's just life.
Yeah. So I've noticed like your journey just in terms of when I first met you and how those patterns shifted and changed to, you know, having the harder conversations to trapping a soulmate. So how did it, so coming back full circle to like all those changing, being on that journey of, you know, feeling not heard or not seen or being like, but the overachiever of if I'm perfect. Erin talked about that she's like, as long as I'm perfect, and she had a father who's alcoholic. So it's like, if I'm perfect, then I can just exist and I can just survive. Like I can just be here. Mm-hmm. And so it's sort of like similar if I'm like the best of the best, winning Oscars and winning, you know, whatever, being the face of Clubhouse and Netflix is a joke. And, you know, then it's like I can just survive and be okay.
There's no amount of success that will make you feel love if you don't know how to receive love.
Mm-hmm. So how did that shift? How did you receive love?
I don't think it shifted. No, it's just interesting because the like, daddy, do you love me now? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Of it all kind of faded in time when I realized there was nothing I could do to earn love because I was trying to earn it.
Yeah.
Instead of just feeling like I was loved.
Yeah.
And don't get me, like, I love my dad unconditionally, but we have had a really complicated relationship where we have gone on and off of speaking. You know, sometimes, and it would all come down to communication breakdowns, failure to take accountability for our actions, and lacking the tools to have the proper conversations. So that would look like stonewalling instead of saying, hey, that really hurt my feelings. Anger instead of saying, hey, that really hurt my feelings. And refusing to say what the real problem was. Punishing, blaming, guilting. I did actually have a time where my mom called me to tell me my dad wasn't proud of me, which that is the ultimate fear, is that your parents aren't proud of you. And I remember that day because it cut me like a knife. I showed up at my ex-boyfriend's house just sobbing. And that was the only time he's ever been there for me. Oh my God. Like, when I say he really handled that like a pro, to be fair, he was a famous kid walking in his dad's famous shadow. So I think he related to this. He was like, I totally get it. Oh no. Oh my God. Which is whatever. But we're in an okay place now. And,
that's great.
And we've had I would say we've had some really awkward conversations. And awkward, I mean, because when you speak to someone who doesn't have the same language that you have, the way in which you communicate, or the way that you, if one person speaks English, but the other person speaks Spanish, you can try to figure out how to communicate, but it's going to be a broken conversation.
Yeah.
And you're not going to 100% get the translation right.
Yep.
And so that is kind of when you come from two perspectives of emotional communication skills, you're going to have an awkward conversation. It feels clumsy. You know what I mean? It's not not that those conversations are ever easy. Like, even when Adam, I would say, like, my husband. Oh yeah. So we've had very tense conversations. We've I think as they've gotten older, wanted to remedy our relationship.
He wants the grandkids.
I love them. We just speak different languages. And I also think that we don't see eye to eye on everything. And that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Difficult when they're your parents. Makers.
Yeah.
You know? But my husband, Adam, he is really good at conversations that are uncomfortable. We haven't had many. He never raises his voice.
Yeah. He's the sweetest.
He's the sweetest.
He's your biggest fan, and he is just like, he adores you and like literally worships the ground you walk on. Like, it's, and like in a healthy way, not in, like.
No, I did put a spell on him, so that would explain it.
So that's how you trapped your soulmate.
Yes. Yeah, I practice witchcraft, so
yeah,
it'll last until I feel like I'm over it.
Yeah. No, I get it.
But he's very good at opening the door for me to walk through.
Yeah.
Or he's just very amenable to uncomfortable conversations.
He like grounds you, is what I noticed, is that you like, he's the wind beneath your, I mean, it sounds so ridiculous.
You're just quoting every song.
Every song.
The wind beneath my wings.
Yes. No, but I mean, he really is. Like, I've just, I've spent time with Adam, and we would go to your shows, and he was just always there, and he's like just so excited at seeing, the same show. Oh, he's just like, I love it. So it was so earnest and so sweet, and it made me so happy to meet him. And because it was, the situations that situationships, and so I'm wondering, where was that shift because of having this shift between you and your dad? Like, that feels like that also kind of like loosened and shifted. And so then I'm just curious what was your psychology in that of making that shift?
Well, I just want to say, Adam watched my Edinburgh Hour 16 times.
See what I'm saying?
Excuse me. I'm blaming Tanner for the burps because I can't take accountability for my own actions. He watched my Edinburgh Fringe show 16 times in a row. He could have put a wig on and just done my act, and he every single time loved it.
Yeah.
I'm like, can you not? Can you just go do something else? Like, go enjoy your life. You don't need to do this. But he's so supportive. I've had a lot of boyfriends or guys I've dated who have been very uncomfortable with me being a comedian.
Yeah. Well, they couldn't handle you being like front and center, a star. Like I remember there was a guy you dated and he was in such awe of you, but then also like hated you for it. Like he loved the thing that you could do and also wanted to destroy you simultaneously. It's like I've heard that in relationships, that the thing that we love about the person is also the thing that like we'll eventually grow tired of or hate or annoy us, and then we have to like work that out or whatever that is. And so some people like who haven't done enough work on themselves like find that challenging.
Yeah. It's interesting because they say find what you love and let it kill you. And I think that's what a marriage is. But no, I am very grateful for him. Truly did have a lot of guys in the past who could not handle me in the starlight or could not handle me being powerful and with what I was saying while I was on stage. You know, there was this one guy who, to be fair, like he looked like a Ken doll that was never going to work out. I mean, like he was so hot that when we walked down the street together, people thought I was the one with money. Like it was just...
Not
like
possible.
they were treating me like a fat old rich man. They were just like, oh, you must, I mean, to get this guy, you know, that pussy must be real good. Like what you do here? But it was so crazy. And he was very sensitive and he came to a show. And then after the show, we went to Barney's Beanery in Burbank. Can never go there again. And he sobbed. And he was just like, you're so funny, but I just, like, you were talking about having sex with another guy. And like, I'm like, did you think I was a virgin? Well, this is, they're just jokes. You know what I mean? I'm going to talk about you too. But it's funny because it's like, my husband loves when I tell jokes about him.
But you also have just great, like, sweet jokes. They're like,
they're not, I don't punch down. You know what I mean? So this guy just couldn't, I think some men can't handle watching women be alphas, if you want to say that, on stage. Like there's just something about watching a woman talk about sex on stage that makes some men uncomfortable, where in my brain I just think, you just don't like women. Like if you do you think I'm supposed to be a little quiet country mouse cooking you dinner? Because if so, like this was never going to work in the first place.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what else the problem is.
Yeah.
Oh, you do think people think that I'm a whore and so they look, you don't want your girlfriend to be a whore? Fine. Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Like I'm a whore. Great. Like, whatever. You know, I don't know what to tell you. Like these jokes this is about a guy from like 10 years ago. You know what I mean? And like, these are like loose. They're all, when comedians say just yesterday before they tell a joke, it happened 10 years ago. When a comedian says, I'm just trying this bit out, it hasn't worked yet, but they want to keep trying it. And they've done it thousands of times. Like comedy should be taken with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
It's for fun.
No.
And it's for laughter. And it's like a release. Do you know what I mean? Like none of it should, it's not a documentary.
Yeah.
Stop taking it so seriously. You know what I mean?
It's a comedy show.
It's a comedy show.
It's a comedy show. You're there
just
to
let us
literally
tell our stupid little dick jokes. And move on with our lives. Take a step away from your desk. Come laugh. Leave.
He just doesn't like comedy.
Some people just don't like comedy.
You know what I mean? Like, was he?
And to be fair,
German?
those jokes were good.
Yeah. I mean, it just could have been that. It just wasn't a fit. And so maybe he just, maybe there's
But he's not the only one. There are a lot of guys like this, right? Like there were a lot of guys who just, like that, the son of the famous guy that I dated. Also famous in his own right. But, it's hard when your dad is that famous. I'm not going to diagnose, but it was hard for him to watch me be a star on stage. He came and saw me. People were coming up to me after in like droves, just being like, "Oh my God, you were so great!" And like at the time, I was like, really dressed up, so like I looked beautiful on stage, and like I put on this incredible show. And he needed to pick a fight with me in front of everyone to ruin. It's like you could have waited
to get to the car to be like, "Hey, this didn't make me feel good," or
he wasn't feeling like I was giving him enough attention. While I was at a show performing. That was what the fight was about.
And his trauma came up and he went, Daddy, do you see me? Daddy, do you see me? You don't see me. Oh my God, this reminds me of my childhood. Oh my God, I'm so triggered. And, normally it's like, what is the phrase? History? Like if it's histrion, like
if it's hysterical, it's historical.
There it is.
But yeah, it was, and I was like, okay, this is not going to work out.
Yeah.
Because you will never be okay with me shining.
Yeah.
Because my husband loves it. He lets people come and compliment me and say, thank you so much. That was so funny. I love this, that, and that. That's how you make fans too, is having personal connections with people. And also like, it's not about that. It's about having a one-on-one connection with someone after because they want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Like people want to say like, thank you. Like if you could talk to Taylor Swift after, do you know what I'm saying? You would just be like, that was incredible. I had the best time.
I'm a Swiftie. Can't help it.
But
don't stop, won't stop.
But you
Taylor
know what
Swift,
I'm saying? Like if you had the opportunity to talk to someone whose work you enjoyed, like why take that away from both of the people?
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm giving you this so that you can relax and enjoy and have fun. And like, we're giving to each other.
Yeah.
And while like comedians and artists and musicians like don't need the praise, and that's not what it's based off of, like you can't do comedy in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Without the audience, there's no show.
Yeah. Also, you can't fit.
Okay, well, there's just not a vacuum big enough for me yet. Susie and I just sat here and we were like, what? And then we're like, oh.
No, Tanner always has the dad jokes and it always takes me a minute. By the way, it was so funny. Luke Cook was singing your praises endlessly. And he was just like, she's just so funny. She's singing, he's like so kind of intimidated. But I think that's like, because he's so funny. He really, he's
I
like.
love him.
Yes. We both love him.
He's so funny.
He's so funny. But he doesn't, sitting here talking to him, he doesn't think he's like that funny. He thinks he's like lowbrow humor, and I die laughing.
But we all think we're, you know.
And so it was really interesting when he'll go for a joke and be really irreverent and he'll try to, go for like new material, like whatever it is. And his audience is being on set. It's not in front of, hundreds or thousands of people like just on stage. So that's how he like tries out a joke. And when it bombs, he's like, oh, fuck, no one likes me. Yeah, damn it, So when he was talking about you, he was like, I think there's something intimidating because every guy I know wants to be funny. Like, unless, like, do you know what I'm saying?
But what I love about Luke, besides the fact that he's hilarious, is that he weaves his Instagram, which is most of the way that I view him, because I've only met him in person once.
Yeah.
But he weaves his Instagram in and out between the most ridiculous comedy you've ever seen. That's so funny. And he's not afraid to go for the joke. He's not afraid to be goofy and silly and do whatever for the bit, which I so appreciate the dedication. That's one. Two, then he'll be like, wholesome dad. Then he'll do like how to live well and be healthy and feel good in your body. And I'm just like, who is this unicorn creature that can do all these things at the same? I love the relationship he has with his family, his kids, his wife.
Oh
like,
my God,
and
it's beautiful.
And I just love them. And I love how he's
too.
So steadfast about fitness and health and what you're supposed to eat and sharing that information with people because he knows he has an audience. And so he wants to make sure that he's relaying that information. And then he tops it off with just like the funniest video of all time every time he posts.
It's so good.
It's great.
Yeah, but it was interesting to hear it from a guy who is very self-aware, who is very humble, who's very successful. Like him being a very self-aware guy who can have these really in-depth conversations, who's multifaceted, who has so many things going for him, is intimidated by you. So I find that like maybe that's, comedy. I think like it is it's like I wanted to say like a male dominated sport, where it's like,
but you'd be right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like, there's a few women and it's like it's a tough game, but it's also when you do it well, it is like I've heard this from, just other, guy friends where it's like they, admire it so much and they're like, oh my God, like that's the thing because you're up there by yourself. You have no one else. It is just you and the microphone where, you have a band in music, you have, you have dancers, you can have a whole variety of things, whereas just you with a microphone. So it's like sort of bearing your soul a bit, but with, jokes and comedy. How do you navigate that? Like, cause you seem pretty like, it's pretty amazing where, I'm fascinated by how like nothing phases you about it,
How do I navigate just the male dominated nature of it?
The male dominated nature of it, but also just the aspect of, like crushing in front of people. And then when it doesn't go well, you're just like, whatever, you kind of like move on, where it's like, how did you develop such a tough skin? Does that go back to childhood? Well, it's like I was built this way.
Yeah, this is a simulation where I'm not in a lab coat, just locked up in 5150 with padded walls. But I don't know if there's one answer. I think it's a multitude of things where it's just something that happens over time. Where if you're a heavyweight lifter, your hands get calloused over time. So they don't hurt anymore when you're lifting these really heavy pieces of metal, like you're a construction worker or whatever it is. You just build the thick skin, literally over time. But if you keep taking these breaks, or if you let one failure, like one bomb, take such a big hit that you don't pick up the mic again for another 2 months, it's like you have to keep rebuilding and rebuilding. So it's like a matter of consistency and just following through despite the failures. Like I had this one epic bomb. One of those bombs where you just are like, okay, I'm done. I quit comedy. I'm done. I called so many guy friends, ironically all men.
When was this?
This was 2021. I was headlining this club. There was a Fallout spot in Arizona. 5 days prior, the person who was headlining that weekend had to call out because they booked a TV show or whatever. And so the booker was like, do you want to come? And I was like, yes. And it was my first time headlining solo for the whole weekend. So it was 6 shows. Thursday night show, 2 Friday shows, 2 Saturday shows, a Sunday show. It's a lot. Or was it 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday? I think it was 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday. Either way, it's a lot. Okay. So my first time headlining, very excited. Peak pandemic time where like red states are not wearing masks, but blue states are like, everyone's going to die. That's where the philosophies are. So, sorry, I would never miss a photo op. So,
it's also video.
Okay,
behind the scenes.
For me.
So, yeah.
And the whole video is me just going, like, okay, nut job. So the first 2 shows are great. We're having such a good time. The meet and greets after are going fine, except for people being like, why are you wearing that mask? And literally going to try to rip it off my face. And me, someone who was in a blue state, shaking, like, please don't touch my mask. You know what I mean? Like I was still like spraying the mics down with sand, which to be fair, should have doing anyway, because you don't know where comedian hands have been. Like, dear Lord, I'm surprised I don't have more venereal diseases.
That green room, damn.
Yeah, no. Actually, it's so funny you say that because just the other night, my friend was like, have you ever had sex in a green room? I was like, no.
Yeah, no, it feels
and they're
gross.
like, really? And everyone I know has apparently.
Oh.
Apparently, there's just cum on everything in there. So never sit down on the couch.
Oh my God. No, it feels gross. It feels sweaty and it feels gross. I've been to the Comedy Store, like back room a few times, bars. And I'm just like, I mean, it's like cool, but you're also like, oh, it's kind of like filled with ghosts and cum. And it's like.
Ghost cum.
Cum. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It really freaks me out when I think about it. So I just try to block it out, like everything else that's ever been a problem for me. But so I'm on stage, and the first half hour of this show is probably the best I've ever done in comedy. Crushing, having a great time. Me and the audience are one. We are laughing. We are connected. The crowd work is going so well. My material is going so well. The whole show is going so well that I'm feeling like I'm good at this. Like I really am a professional. I know what I'm doing, and I'm like, I can't believe my first headlining weekend is going this well.
That's awesome.
And then the bomb starts.
Not the bomb, but like
no
bomb. Yeah, just explosion. Yeah.
So multiple things are happening at the same time that are so out of my control. Up until now, the audience has been well behaved and has been loving the show. But let me explain to you how a show is run. Clubs have a 2-drink minimum. Always.
I was going to say, were people getting drunker and being forced fed like alcohol? That's when like shit can kind of go haywire.
All clubs have, mostly all clubs have a 2-drink minimum. Okay, like serious clubs. Because if you're just doing things off ticket sales, you're not going to make any money. You know what I mean? Like they have to.
Yep.
2-drink minimum, that's the rule. But your show has a host, maybe a guest spot, maybe a feature, and if you've included anyone else, and then you're on. So think about by the time that you get on stage, it's already been, let's say, 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how many other people are in front of you. If they've delayed the show up top, just to continually seat more people, to flip the room, like whatever it is, right? So, and let's just say the doors were open before that. So people are sitting there having their drinks before anyone's even on stage, right? So by the time you get on stage, some people are tired. Either they've already had their drinks and they're like, okay. Or in my situation, what happened was there were so few tickets sold for that night that they only had one server on duty. And
so now they're hungry.
By the time the show started, the show was sold out. So they didn't have enough staff. I did not know this. I was not privy to any of this information. The air conditioning, for whatever reason, wasn't really we're in Arizona. It was 110 degrees. People are starting to overheat. And then the people in the back of the room are going, where are my drinks? Where's my food? I ordered it an hour ago. Out loud. Just starting to yell. And it's like the manager, all these people came in to try to help, which I didn't know. Security, because they thought the ticket sales were so low before the show started, there's only one security guard. So when the show started to get rambunctious, they were outside being security guards, not realizing that there was a problem inside the venue. Meanwhile, everyone else is trying to get the food to all these people. So then I have a table of Mormons to my left who won't stop trying to fuck me during my set. This guy is like, this is my wife, Sarah. This is my other wife. And he's like, we really want to see you after the show. Have you ever had a threesome? Just going at it. And up until this point, I've had no problem with crowd control.
Yeah.
We've been having a good time. The crowd was on my side. And
so you're doing crowd work with them.
I was handling this really well.
Yeah.
And it was going great. And then suddenly he wouldn't stop talking.
Oh no.
And I was like, oof, this is getting really weird. And then a guy literally in the center of the room who came alone, wearing a little cap. He was from Chicago, I think. All of that decided to just start talking. Just start talking out loud. Wouldn't stop talking. And I was like, all right, sir, that's enough out of you. Thank you. And the crowd, like I said, was with me. But now suddenly the crowd turned on me because the entire back section of the room was like, where's our food? The people in the front are the Mormons trying to fuck me. This guy won't stop talking. And then suddenly I'm sweating through my shirt, smiling, trying to handle it all because I had tried the best I could as a comedian to handle the situation, mitigate all of the frustrations of people. There's nothing I could do. I'd already lost the room. So for 20 more minutes, I would have gone the whole hour, but I could not wait to get off the stage. 20 more minutes, I was smiling and literally drenched through my shirt as I just bombed. 20 minutes of bombing. Thinking about it literally makes me want to quit comedy again. But
well, we don't have to. We described it in such detail.
In front of a sold out room, the lights are so bright on you when things are going poorly. I will tell you that much.
Yeah.
That's the thing about stand-up. Improv, you have other people that can come in and save you.
Sure.
You can get off the stage.
Yeah. No, it's
With
just
stand up.
But that's why it's when you crush, it's just you and you are like a god, essentially.
So then at the end of the show, there was a meet and greet and I was like, I can't go.
Yeah.
I literally stayed in the green room, I roll called 6 male comics, my friends. I was like, I think I should comedy. I just had this bomb. Literally my friend Mike Ishak, very funny comic. He was just like, oh, that was your first bomb? Oh, that's so cute. welcome to comedy. Welcome to comedy. You know, he was just like, oh my God, Leah, please. And he was like, this is going to happen more often too. And he's like, this just happens. And like, it just helps you become a better.
Chappelle.
It happens. I watched Dave bomb. Like everyone has watched someone great bomb.
Yeah.
Like that's just what happens. Dave is the funniest person alive. And yet
he's the GOAT.
Well, I remember seeing Jerry Seinfeld go up at the Comedy Store after Mitzi had died because Mitzi and Jerry, I guess, had like some sort of beef. So he never went to the store. He showed up. He did his set. He got off stage. And I was like, I'll never be that funny ever. Like that was my first thought was like, how do I get to be that funny? And also, I don't think I'll ever be that funny. And then there were some like Gen Z comics who were like, I don't get it. He's not funny at all. And I was like, I don't even know what to say to that. Like, you just said one of the funniest people in the whole world who's a billionaire from comedy is not funny. And you don't get it. Like,
but it's taste.
It's subjective, right? Subjective. Like, fine. If you think fart jokes are funny, you might not think Jerry's funny. That's fine. Cool. Like, whatever. Like, it's your taste. But he's a GOAT. And if you have to, if you're a comedian also, respect.
Yeah.
Respect that, like, that's Jerry Seinfeld.
It makes sense. So, and then
it just happens. But I will tell you that I left the green room and I had another show to do after that.
And
immediately right after that show.
How'd that go after that?
The show was fine. Oh, the show was great. But I left the green room when I thought like the room was empty and I'd never have to make eye contact with any of those people again. And the Mormons were waiting for me.
No.
They hadn't left. And this guy was like, so do you want to come back with us after your next show? And I was like, oh my God, no. Yeah. I was like, I'm working.
Yeah. No, I think we're good.
Yeah. And they were like, well, we can wait for you for after the second show. And I was like, oh, you just do not take no for an answer.
I feel like those women were just held captive. And
I was like, blink twice.
Blink twice if you're okay. Like, seriously, are you guys okay? Can I?
It was crazy.
Is this P. Diddy's house? Are you okay?
It's wild. So wild. But that was like my most epic bomb.
And then how does it feel to crush? Because you crush a lot. Like bombing doesn't seem like it happens a lot for you. Like, so I feel like crushing.
Bombing is like one of those like soul staining experiences where it's like a scarlet letter almost, where you like carry the stench of a bomb on you forever. You're like, oh God, is TSA even gonna let me through the airport? Like I just got this bomb on me from like, it's just brutal. It's funny because when you crush, I don't even know. It's like that temporary high. And it's the temporary boost of confidence where you're like, oh yeah, I'm good at this. But also it's a numbers game. Like sometimes you'll do the same, like I did 3 shows in a night and the third show I got to, people just like weren't, like the other 2 shows, people were uproarious. So much laughter, so much applause, having such a good time. The third show, people were just like, and I'm like, and I watched a lot of other comedians be like, I told these jokes earlier and other people like that because we all lose our minds a little bit. And so I've done that too. But I'm like, sometimes it's just the room and there's just nothing you can do and it doesn't matter. And like people like you, but they might not like laugh out loud. I was at a comedy show the other night where this girl, I was featuring for my friend Natalie, who's so funny.
We love Natalie.
We love Natalie. I know we're going on tour this weekend actually.
This is amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're going to Greeley, Colorado, and Casper, Wyoming.
Wow.
And I've never been to Casper, but
this is exciting.
Saw that it's a red state, so I'm going to bring some wire hangers for any ladies who need me. But there were there was this girl in the back of a show that we did last week who every time she laughed would just go,
oh my God.
And I almost walked up to her. I told Natalie this. I was like, I almost walked up to her just be like, you can,
it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know what that is. Like
polite. I guess it's being extra polite. It's like, well,
I'm like, bitch, if you don't laugh, I will kill myself. So just let go.
Yeah. Well, then you have who's like cack like,
if I had 10,000 Susies in the audience, I'd be so happy.
Yeah. Because I have a very loud laugh where I sometimes, especially if my friends are going up, I'm like, like really like amping it up and then people are like laughing at the laugh. And then it just sort of is this thing that, because, it's like you can change the chemistry of a room just having one person who just is having a great time because people feel like, is it okay? Can we have fun? you know, like, because people are, you know, it's been a tough world in the last, like, you know, couple years. So it's like people just want, you know, like, fuck, I just want to watch rom-coms. Like the rom-com has been really taking off recently. Like we're getting back to rom-com life and, you know, like comedy. It's like, fuck, you know, inflation's high, like war and like, I want to not worry about whatever this is, you know?
Yeah. It's been interesting because I had a couple of sets last week where I was like, oh, thank you, you know, just thank you, God. I needed those little ego boosts of being like, yes, I am good at this. Like, yes, I am very good at this. People really enjoy my comedy. I got a lot of DMs from strangers, you know, just being like, that was so great. I can't wait to watch your hour. But, you know, it's like, oh, that's makes you feel really good. Especially when people come up to you after and they're just like, that was like, I laughed so hard. I almost peed myself. Like, because, and yes, of course you love getting praise and like the ego needs it. But also I'm like, I'm glad that the thing that I did brought you joy. Because that's the whole point of it is like, you know, you have the gift to give it away. So it's like, I was able to make your night better, whatever you're going through in life. You came here to have a little like blow off some steam and then it worked. Yeah. You know, that your money didn't go down the drain. Right. And so it feels good to know that I'm doing my job well.
Yeah. You're serving like the crowd. You're there to serve. It's sort of like, you know, when we're telling stories for film and TV, it's like you want to serve the story. And we talk about that. Like just, I talked about this with Peter, just like wanting to serve the story. So it's like you're wanting to serve like your stories and the audience of like being like, yeah, let me, you know, you've spent your hard earned money. You drove here. You spent like 30 minutes driving, you know, and maybe you got in a fight with like your boyfriend or girlfriend. You're like, oh God, you know, and you just, So it's just sort of, you know, and then you let them like, I kind of like Joe Rogan, how he thinks about it. He's like, we're going to let you take the wheel and be our brains for a second. Like, let's see like your viewpoint and how you see the world. And so you're going to drive that consciousness and we're going to follow you, you know, and like, you're going to take us on a ride. I really like that.
It's escapism.
Yeah.
So it's watching a TV show or a movie. It's going to see live theater, musicals, whatever it is. It's escapism. You want to get away from your life for just a second. You want to hit pause. You want to put it on hold and you want to just be entertained. And so hopefully I'm doing my job well. But it's interesting because different rooms, it's different strokes for different folks. So different rooms are going to have different reactions to the same exact joke. So I remember during the pandemic, and even now still, like in some red states, I would say how like unvaccinated sperm was like Bitcoin. Like I had like whole bits about it, right? But when I was in blue states, I didn't talk about that. And like, these are just jokes, but I'm trying to appeal to the people.
Sure.
Right? Because it's like, you're paying to come see a ticket. Maybe because not like I'm not a huge A-list comic yet. So maybe not all these people know who I am. So maybe they don't know what my comedy is like. So I don't need to make any enemies. You know what I mean? And while I always want to be myself, like whether or not I'm always going to tell jokes that are in my POV.
Yeah.
So I will selectively tell jokes that appeal to certain groups of people when I'm in front of them. So it's like, if it's a Gen Z crowd, I might not tell jokes that I have that involve Gen Z that are like, you know, haha. But sometimes I will and see how it goes. And usually not well. And then
so you test it out.
Yeah, we just test the waters. You know, I'll tell just like certain jokes here or there just to see how it goes. You know, like
so you're always pushing.
I'll just dip my little pinky toe in the pool, see if the water is warm. It's not warm. Okay, we're going back. But it's been interesting because ever since October 7th, anytime I even just say I'm Jewish, I just say a joke like a softball about being Jewish. Suddenly, everyone's assholes go.
Yeah.
The air gets sucked out of the room. And apparently just like being Jewish is controversial. I'm like, okay, so if you feel uncomfortable with the word Jew, you're anti-Semitic. Sorry. I don't know what else to tell you because me being an American Jew who lives in LA has nothing to do with conflict that is on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Like I'm making jokes about looking like Natalie Portman, but like...
I think everyone's just so concerned because it's like... LA especially is just a place where it's like...
It's not just LA, babe.
Oh.
It's everywhere. So if I am making jokes about the war, yes.
Yeah.
Totally, I understand it's tense, right? Like maybe let's backtrack. If I'm using the word Israel, get it. Hot word, Hamas, hot word, like people are gonna get uncomfortable. But just saying that I'm Jewish should not make all the hair on your back stand up.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem fair.
Yeah, I imagine it's you know what it's like? It's like
it's so uncomfortable, and it makes no sense to me because I'm like, so if you can conflate an entire group of people,
it polarizes so many people. I think is like, you know, it's like mommy and daddy are fighting. You're like, like, you know what I mean? And then you're like, I just don't. So I wonder if there's, again, just going back to like childhood, or it just reminds, you know, it can be very polarizing. So I'm wondering, like, and it might be like, but I can't speak for the people. Like, I don't know. I have, you know,
I'm just telling you my experience.
Yeah, no, totally.
So the experience is that people are uncomfortable with anything having to do with being Jewish, which, in my opinion,
that's a bummer.
Is fucked up.
That's a fucking bummer,
right? Like, Jews live all over the world, except for in the places that they're not allowed to. But for the most part, we live all around the world. Like, people are varying degrees of religious. Like, some people are just spiritual. Some people have no connection to Judaism. They're just born Jewish. You know, it's like, and me being just using the word Jewish or like Jew shouldn't make it so that you literally can't laugh for the rest of my set.
No, that's wild. Yeah.
It is so interesting.
You're like, damn it, come on.
Well, yeah. I mean, there used to be jokes that anyone could laugh. And
I love your jokes.
I mean, but they're stupid jokes, right? Like stuff that has nothing to do with the conflict at all. Like the same jokes I was telling before, like
Hebrew school,
I'm an LA 7, but a Hebrew school 11. Like, please explain to me what this has to do with a war.
And that crushed. Yeah.
It's an old stupid joke, right? But like, it has nothing to do with that. Or like, I sent my DNA into 23andMe and they sent me back an everything bagel. Please explain to me how that is offensive. Like, how? I
mean, it's a great joke,
right? But like, what does that have to do? Okay, but like, what does it have to do with war? Or like, I have this joke about like Jewish women being the best at giving blowjobs. Like, okay, and now so because I use the word blow. Is that what it explode? No, like what? Like, I don't. It just makes no sense to me. There are comedians who discuss politics in that respect. I'm not one of them.
Yeah,
I don't talk about that war.
Yeah,
because I don't feel like I have enough intellect to talk about it or
Let's go
the
back
language.
To comedy.
But my point is that is part of my comedy. Like, I talk about being Jewish because it's part of my identity. And I felt like I haven't been able to talk about who I am on stage now without either like literally speaking to a hushed audience or losing the entire audience for the rest of the set. And it is so crazy.
That's wild. That's a bummer. No, it's a bummer. It's a super bummer. Yeah.
Because I'm like, it should be okay for me to just be Jewish. Like, that should not be a point of contention.
Yeah.
It's started to get better recently, I think, because not so much time has passed. It's been 11 months. Like,
yeah. And you're like, come on, it's an everything bagel. We can't laugh at, but come on.
It's a fucking bagel. Like, what are we like, what's happening here? Like, why is everyone getting so upset? You know, and so it's been interesting because I've been like tiptoeing on the line always. It's like, what COVID jokes can I tell? What political jokes can I tell? What Jewish jokes can I tell? What jokes can I tell about my pussy? What jokes can I tell about your pussy? What jokes can I,
Isn't that comedy? Isn't that just finding out where the line is and being like, can I just go past this line? Okay.
Yeah, but hypothetically, you should be able to say anything. Yeah. And I think that there are some people who have built their audiences up so much that people expect them to say whatever. Like, if you watch Andrew Schultz, like, he just fucking says goes. Whatever he wants, and people, but they've been trained that that's what he's going to do. Yeah. He's going to push it to the limit every single time, no matter what, in every subject. Everyone's like, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
And it's funny. And it's so funny.
And we love it.
But I do that and I have problems. So like, I don't know if it's either I haven't yet built the audience that's getting used to listening to a woman tell these types of jokes, or if it has nothing to do with me being a woman. The jokes are funny, by the way. Fuck you. And as like whatever. Okay. Or if there's like a third thing that I have a blind spot with that I can't figure out. You know what I mean? So that's like a tightrope walk I've been doing for a while, trying to figure out like when you fall, where the pitfalls are, what I can say, what I can't say. And I'm going to do it anyway, probably.
Yeah.
And then just see where it takes me. But the other thing too is like, you don't want to keep intentionally telling jokes that you feel like telling to silence. Like, it also doesn't feel good to just like get nothing.
Sure.
So I'm like, at what point am I doing this just to be like, I want to say it just because I want to, versus like, I want to say this because, well, I'll enjoy it.
Yeah. Who are your comedy influences?
Joan Rivers, Phyllis Diller, Louis C.K., obviously Seinfeld and Chappelle, Ali Wong. Amy Schumer's first special is like probably just like one of the best specials of all time. Honestly, it's so good. I loved watching Bill Burr live.
I love Bill Burr. Bill fucking Burr.
I'll never forget. I was on a show with him like a while ago, and he just went on stage and ranted. And I thought for sure this was like all planned material. Like 20 minutes of just talking. And he got off stage. He's like, did anyone record that? I have no idea what I said. And we were like, wow. You just go on stage and murder, like just nonstop laughter for 20 minutes and you're just talking. This isn't pre-written material. Like you're going in without an agenda and you can just crush that hard. I need to get better at comedy. Like I need to learn how to be Bill Burr, you know? Just a master, absolute master. Chelsea Handler also is so funny. Nikki Glaser crushing it. Also just like one of the nicest, best people in the biz. Like she's like someone who's given me opportunities when like other people haven't.
Yeah.
Who know me could and they chose not to.
Sure.
Like she's an angel.
Yeah.
And obviously,
I
like,
love Nikki. She
great.
murdered at Tom Brady's roast. Like she was the star of the night. She was amazing.
But she's been great before that.
Yeah,
like a long time.
But I've like been watching her for like years. But I think like that's when the public suddenly was like, oh my God, you know?
Yeah. No, she's like just as lovely on stage as she is. Well, maybe on stage you think she's not. She's like harsh because of her roast jokes. But
Sure.
No, she's like the most wonderful, hilarious, talented, gorgeous person.
Oh, that's awesome. When I was watching, when you were talking about Bill Burr, it reminded me of, oh my God, this was incredible. So somehow I became friends with Dave Chappelle for a brief amount of time. I sat next to him at Nobu, and next thing you know, we're chatting, and he's like, "Hey, you want to go to the Peppermint?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" With like me and my girlfriend. Then suddenly we're like backstage with like T.I. and Tiffany Haddish, and we're all in this like VIP at the Peppermint. It's like a hotspot place where I think they were having Nipsey Hussle. Is that his name? Nipsey Hussle, who right before they were doing like a sneaker release party. Anyway, so then suddenly I kept getting invited to like Dave's stand-up, and one of the stand-ups was with him and Chris Rock. So literally, so Dave's like, you know, they take the phones, so they lock them up. You can't, you know, you can never like record it it kills me because it's nowhere, and I wish I, you know, could listen to it. But Dave just gets up there and he just starts like being like, "Hey, what do you guys want to talk about?" And then just starts going into it. And he's like, "Chris, you want to get up here?" And he's like, "I don't know." And they're suddenly just riffing. Next thing you know, Chris talks about I guess murder in his family, where I guess his father, and it's a whole crazy funny bit where Chris I think comes from a preacher father, and there was like a neighbor who was always like hitting on his father's wife, which is his mom. So the guy like takes out Chris's father takes out a shotgun. He's like, "You take one more step, like I'm gonna blow you away. Like, you know, I'm gonna blow you away if you like, you know, talk to my wife one more time," or something like this of this effect. So the guy takes one step, just being like, "Mer, mer, mer." And then like his father takes out a shotgun, blows him away, I guess goes to prison. Or I'm like, I don't know if this was his grandfather, if this was it might have been his grandfather. So this whole situation happens. And then he goes into how I guess that trauma gets permeated into his life, where there was some guy who would always like kind of beat him up. And one day, like he took a brick to this guy's fucking head and nearly fucking killed him. I think he went to jail or something briefly. But then he was making like this roundabout joke about how this guy with the brick to the head always shows up. He's like, "Hey, it's me, the brick to the ahead. I'm here in the show. And so it was like this whole crazy bit for like literally like an hour of just them telling stories. And it was one of the most riveting things. And I'm always amazed by, like Bill Burr, comedians, like how they do that. And yeah, that was the story. That was the story, but it was really cool. Like I really enjoyed it. It was like a fun, like being there. What do you think of Marvelous Miss Maisel?
I auditioned to be Maisel.
And what
did
was
you get it?
Can you now not watch it?
No, I watched it. I actually really enjoyed the first 2 seasons. I laughed and cried every episode. And then after that, it lost its flavor for me.
Mm-hmm.
But, a lot of times you audition and they already have someone who's a name.
Mm-hmm. Was that Joan Rivers? Was that who was it?
A lot of shows are based off Joan Rivers.
And Jean Smart.
But it's
Hacks.
But it's based off of like all the women of that time period, really. like mashed into one person.
Yeah.
Hacks is very Joan Rivers-y. I mean, the QVC.
Yeah.
Having one daughter. I mean, a lot of it is very similar.
Yeah.
What's Tanner doing?
Table of Mormons. I'm just
Great band name, Table of Mormons.
I'm just writing down good band names. And you said there was a Table of Mormons, and I just thought that was going to be killer.
That's so funny. Table of Mormons. Yeah, so Maisel is based off of the women of that time, and I think it was just the idea that women weren't supposed to be outspoken, and women were supposed to look and act a certain way at that time. Certainly weren't supposed to have like these big personalities, and certainly weren't supposed to be on stage doing stand-up comedy and talking about abortion, talking about sex, and like all of this stuff was very taboo then. Taboo.
Tybo.
I was just thinking of Table of Mormons, Tabo, and then taboo. Yeah, it was very taboo back then. But I love that show. I actually auditioned in front of Amy Sherman Palladino, and I was so nervous. Bombed that audition really hard. It was also one of those auditions that you get the night before. They gave me 24 pages to memorize for a live audition at 9 a.m, which is now illegal.
Yeah.
And
thank God.
Yeah, thank God. It was 2 separate scenes. And one scene...
Was it really? How many pages? It was...
And one scene was a 12-page monologue.
That's not possible.
And the other was this heavy dramatic scene. And when I got to the audition, they said, choose one scene. And I'm like, you could have told me that last night when I was preparing. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh my God. Because then instead of doing like a half-assed job on both of them, I could have slam dunked one of them. I did the monologue, but it just wasn't, I wasn't ready. You know what I mean? I was like too young. I didn't hit the beats. I was too nervous. I was too green in both comedy and acting. Mm-hmm. And the person that they cast, obviously Rachel Brosnahan, while she's not Jewish, which always rubs me the wrong way. It's like you can't cast people in Hollywood
for a variety of reasons.
A variety of reasons, and diversity comes into play sometimes, but not for others. And I really don't understand the double standard here. Just everyone hates us, but that's okay. Just makes no sense, but it's fine. This is like the most stereotypical Jewish role, and they couldn't have. Was Natalie Portman busy? Like, was Gal Gadot out to lunch? Like, I don't know what was going on. Definitely didn't have to be me, but just a Jew. Like, there's so many talented Jewish. Rachel Brosnahan is a fantastic actress and so talented, and she did that role justice.
She really did. She crushed.
Just upsetting.
Yeah.
That it was a stereotypical Jewish role, and they couldn't find one Jewish person. Mm-hmm. But, also at the time, Rachel was like killing it from House of Cards, and she'd already been like a series regular on some stuff. And like it was an easy choice, obviously. She's so talented, and the show was fantastic.
Yeah. Did you always know that you wanted to be in comedy?
No.
Like growing up?
No.
Did you know you wanted to be an actress or in the arts, or were you encouraged at all? Like, how did you?
No, obviously, Susie. Obviously not. No one is ever encouraged to be in the arts. Unless,
no, some are.
Yeah, Nepo babies. But
probably. There's some people that are.
Were you encouraged?
No.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, hold on. I take that back.
This is a pleasant surprise. A plot twist.
It's a plot twist. my answer is it's complicated because I was a really good artist as like 5 or 6. And, I would tell stories and do these long, I would be writing like 50-page stories, like books or novels when I was, I don't know, in 4th grade. And my mom, she just would really encourage me. So one of my teachers was like, wow, she's really like, she's got this gift, like she needs to pursue this. But I was also pursuing tennis, and my mom just needed to kind of like find a place where I wasn't causing trouble. And she didn't have enough time to raise me. And she was like, I'll put you somewhere. So, and then tennis just happened to be like, that was something the family loved to play, just like with, it was, tennis was big in our family. It was a very social event. People would drink beer. They would all get together. And so that was a big thing. And then also my mom, she just encouraged me to, she's like, wow, maybe I should. So she put me simultaneously in tennis and then also this arts camp. It was an acting camp where Chris Evans, we went, it was Camp Middlesex, and we went there at the same time, and my life made sense. Like suddenly I, didn't know anything about acting, but I was seeing these plays and I was just like, oh my God, my life makes sense. And it was one of the best times, but then tennis sort of became a part of my life. Like that kind of took over because I got really good really fast. And I think I loved playing. I loved how much energy I could kind of get rid of, but simultaneously, like I think I got a lot of attention for being really good at something. So that was also like I loved playing, but then also having like, wow, gave me confidence. And so it was this sort of battle between those two things. My mom would enter me in these modeling contests, and I at like 12, and I would like won one of them or something. Like it was like Macy's, be a star. And then it was always I had to keep choosing tennis because the coach was like, what are you doing? You're going to be a fucking model. Ugh. And so then I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to play tennis. And so my mom, but I think when I started to actually pursue it when I was like 18 or, music and all this other stuff, like then there was sort of like, oh, wait, you should be just an accountant or something. So it was sort of this like, you should do this as a hobby. So it was sort of like she loved the idea of it. And maybe if I had gone into modeling, but then again, like I think that was modeling as like a young kid probably served me to just play tennis. Like I think that, yeah. So it was like some encouragement, some not. But so tell me, so like how did you figure that out for yourself of that's what you're meant to do? Because it's like clear to me and everyone else that I feel like that's like what you're meant to do.
When you just fall into something and then it's not easy, but it just works. Mm-hmm. Nothing in life is easy. And I don't think people understand there's a lot of overnight successes. Of course, see the 10 years or 15 years or 20 years of hard work that has gone into it. But I was never pushed into the arts. In fact, I was always pushed away from the arts. And I think my parents just wanted me to have like a very normal, stable life. So I loved art. I mean, I kept trying to take art classes and stuff. And then suddenly I wasn't allowed to take the next level of art class. And, there were a lot of like things I wasn't allowed to do. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I think there might have been a fear from my family's perspective where they just want the best for you and they want you to have enough money and they want you to have stability and they want you to have a 401k and they want you to have health insurance. And they don't want to ever have to worry that you're not going to be okay. And especially in someone, who's a straight A student who is extremely capable, they don't want someone like that to struggle because why should you struggle if you're intelligent and capable? Mm-hmm. So I see from their perspective why they never supported my career or decision to be in the arts because as my mom says, I would have made a great lawyer, which I disagree with strongly. I'd be like, I'm so sorry. Can we break for lunch? I'm just like so hungry and I feel like doing an escape room. And also I'm wondering if I can like check Instagram for a second. So you could talk about how you like murdered that person again, but just like, I need to really quickly just go do something. I'll be right back. But yeah, just not a fit for, my personality is not made to be in an office.
Yeah.
I tried for so long to appease my parents and do the thing. And I think that it just kept getting drilled into my head. Like, this is not a real career path. You can't actually do this. You need to have a real job. Get your head out of the clouds.
Yeah, I heard that too. Eventually later on. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And so I decided to not follow my dreams 100%. I continually half-assed it. You know, I was like doing like stealthy acting on the side to like submit myself to auditions and this and that. When I got to college, it was my first time away from home where I got to just be me. And I got to just be crazy and fun and unwind and really discover myself. And I was a biochem major for 2 years. And I was like, wow, I don't want to do this. I don't like this. I cannot open my textbooks. I don't want to go to class. I am not happy here. I don't want to do this. Like, I don't enjoy this anymore. This was an old version of me from programming that was given to me to make, while I was very good at science and math, and there weren't a lot of women in science and math, so it wasn't just my parents pushing me in that direction. It was like the school district being like, we need more women in science. Like, we need more women in math. Like, I was a kid in middle school going to high school for math.
Wow.
And I know are we surprised?
I mean, but you know, that's still cool. That's still rare. So I'm not alone.
That part is cool. That part I'll give you.
Okay,
I'll take that.
Thank you.
Things that are innate. This is not innate. This is learned.
No. But this is what this symbolizes. This symbolizes that you're a genius when you come with like 10 million ideas. You're like, oh my God, I have this idea. Blah, blah. I'm like, it's a genius. Like, you come up with amazing genius ideas all the time. So when I see you just doing this as a side like thing that you're just on stage, it represents how a genius you are, that you can do like just anything, like multifaceted person. So I just think that's cool. That's what it means.
Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, I was definitely pretty precocious, but it's because they were also pushing me there, not forcing. They were elevating me there. They were like, oh, you're ready to be in the 9th grade. You know, so like in 7th grade, I would go to the high school.
I wasn't wrong. I would
take math. But you know, everything comes with its limits and its boundaries. So if you keep pushing someone to do something, even if they're good at it, but it's not what they want to do, it's going to explode.
Yep.
Like, you're going to burn out and you're not going to want to do it anymore.
Yep.
So when I was a junior in high school, the summer going into my senior year of high school, I went to Tufts University and studied breast cancer research. Like, that's what I did for my summer.
Wow.
Just so crazy. And like, I was studying tumors on rats in like towers that were super high security. I mean, it was just so insane. I was like, I'm 17. I should be a child right now.
Wow.
And I'm like dissecting tumors under a microscope by myself in a white room. Like, what am I doing?
This is wild.
Haven't I ever told you about this?
No.
Oh my God, this is like a whole different life.
By the way, it's giving Leah Lamarr. It's giving your cousin, right? So is it cousin or aunt?
Cousin.
Okay. So she's one of the greatest inventors / movie stars of the world. She invented Wi-Fi. She created this technology in the 1940s.
She created frequency hopping, which is Wi-Fi. Yeah. But she didn't,
blows my mind.
But this makes sense. She didn't get the credit for it because she co-created it with a man and he got all the credit.
But wasn't she? So wait. From my understanding,
money. Let me rephrase. Money.
She was in the Hall of Fame. There was some Hall of Fame.
But she was also considered
inventors.
the most beautiful woman in the world.
Yeah.
And she was the first woman nude on film in a non-pornographic way.
Yeah.
She was also close friends with like Michael Jackson. There's like a lot of like she was a Hollywood star.
Wow,
she escaped Nazi Germany by being smart. Like, she's incredible and I could never walk in her shoes. So I'd rather not talk about her because I will never be that amazing.
But you're Hollywood royalty. That's cool.
I don't think so, but she's like a distant cousin, but fine. I don't think so at all. But Hollywood royalty usually means that you're a Nepo baby and you get
something from it. Yeah.
That's not what this is whatsoever. I've struggled very hard. No one knows who I am.
But you're a genius. So I think that's what you get. You're beautiful and you kind of like, you look like her.
I'll take that. But she's really spectacular person. But yeah, so I was starting to do like science and stuff. And then actually, I'm like starting to tell this longer joke on stage about the day I lost my virginity, which was during this, like when I was in like science programming, like still doing all of this like breast cancer research. It was like a crazy summer. But I did lose my mind that summer. 100% lost my fucking mind. Tried to convince myself that was for sure going to be like my life's calling, even though I never enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed the creativity that went into research, but being in a lab is very sterile, unfun environment. There was very little room for jokes. People looked down on me because I wore makeup. Like, it was just a strange environment. And there were a lot of women there. And I felt internalized misogyny from it. And I remember like my last day at the lab, the director of the lab was like, so what do you think? And I was like, I want to do science forever. I love it. I'm absolutely obsessed. I want to dedicate my life to it. And she's like, my sister is an artist. And it's two sides of the same coin. The only difference is the line of insanity.
Wow.
And I will never forget that because I felt like she saw me and I couldn't see myself. And I was like, no, this is what I want to do. I want to do this forever. Cut to, like I'd already applied to colleges as a biochem major.
5 minutes
PhD,
later.
Yeah, pre-med, like all this sort of really intense programming for my schedule was all science, all math. And I hated it. And I'd audition for these like musicals because so when you asked me like, what did I want to be? When I was like 7, 8, I wanted to be a Jewish Britney Spears. My childhood room was covered. Well, did you want to be Jewish and Britney Spears?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
I was, my childhood bedroom was covered in photos of Britney Spears.
Wow.
Wall to ceiling? Yeah, ceiling to floor, inside of my closet door, just covered. I worshipped her.
She is amazing.
I still love her.
She's iconic.
She can never, in my mind, what they did to Britney is horrific.
Yeah.
And
it really is.
Hollywood is an interesting business, but I will say, like, what a pivotal time in my childhood.
Yeah.
Because those songs, if I hear them in the car, like if I'm getting pulled over, it's like, sorry, officer, what did I, like, oops, I did it again. Like I can't turn the music down. We're just going for it. But I love Britney. Anyway, so I wanted to be like a pop star. Britney, bitch. So I got to college and I started auditioning for musicals and I was having so much fun. And I was never the lead in anything. I was too nervous. My stage nerves were insane. I would just like forget my lines, forget the choreography. Like I would just get so anxious when I was on stage. I loved it and it made me very nervous. And I didn't have my sea legs because I hadn't really had practice. You know what I mean? Like I was I was behind closed doors basically by myself all the time. So this was a very new experience. But I loved it. It's like what made my soul happy. And I loved the community and I loved the people and I loved that they let me be me and everyone was joking and having fun and being weird and silly. And I was like, these are my people.
Yeah.
So I kept doing that. And then I moved into theater without musicals, without singing. And then I did this like off Broadway show in Times Square. And then I came back to school and this guy was like, come do my film, and so it was like, I just kind of moved into film, like TV film angle of it. And I was like, just exploring all of the options. And I still knew, like, and that's what made me happy. And I loved creating, being on set, working with my fellow artists, collaborating on making art, telling stories, getting to just be who we really want to be. But then I graduated, my parents like, get a real job, get a job. And I was like, okay, fine. So I get a job and then I'm still trying to like audition on the side and like do these little things here and there. And, I was so unhappy at a desk. Like it just doesn't fit my personality. I'm not a 9-to-5 person.
Yeah.
Like I need to be on my own schedule. I need to be creative. I need to be making my own work. I'm not good in an office environment. Like I don't know how to be appropriate. Like I do and I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
we wouldn't have any other way.
I could be the good girl for forever, but then you'd be like locking a tiger in a cage.
Yeah.
I gotta go. I gotta get out of the fucking cage. I'm not meant to be here. Like I should be in the forest.
Yeah.
Like this is not my natural habitat. And so once I moved to Hollywood, I like let go of my jobs, which was very scary for me to finally like be free, not have any income, not have health insurance, really figure it out, like flying by the seat of my pants. But it's like, I was always meant to kind of like have a boho free lifestyle. And I was finally giving myself permission to do it. And I had booked this feature So I moved to LA and I was like, oh my God, LA's so easy. I already booked a job. Like,
that's amazing.
I was non-union. And then I booked amazing. Like every non-union commercial you could look at. I was like, I couldn't stop booking. Like boom, 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 boom. So I was like, oh my God, LA is so easy. And then a friend of mine who's a producer who I actually met at my first job in New York was like, I'm going to set you up on a job. Not a job. Oh my God. I'm going to set you up on a meeting with this casting director because I didn't know anyone in Hollywood. Like I said, not Hollywood royalty whatsoever. My family's not in the business. No one I know is in the business. So I was starting from scratch. And I had this meeting with this casting director. And after like an hour of chatting with her, she goes, Leah, I just want to let you know you're more funny, less pretty. You should be doing stand-up.
I mean, you're gorgeous, but you are incredibly funny. I mean, you're actually
what she
both.
was saying was like, I'm not Zendaya at 17. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, you're not. I think she thought that I was like a model. You know what I mean? It's like, I know I'm not a supermodel. And I know I'm not like 18 years old, right? Like, I know I'm not coming here a spring chicken, just like fresh and ready to get molested by Diddy. Like, I know that that's not where I'm at. So, but the way she said it, while it hurt, I also understood what she meant. And she's like, just try it. And so I took a class and then I started going to, and I was like, oh my God, I love this. Because you get to really just be a cat, like a black cat.
Yeah.
Like you show up when you want to, you get attention when you want to, and then you leave when you feel like it.
Right.
You don't have to wait for anyone. It's like, I feel like improv is like being a dog and stand-up is like being a cat. Like improv, you're like, all right, does anyone want to hang out? Like, what do you guys want to do? Like, will someone take me out? Like, I can't do anything by myself. But you know, cats are like, I'm gonna go take a shit when I want to.
Right.
And then like, also, like, I'm just gonna live my life.
Like,
and
I'm gonna sit in your lap.
I'll scratch you when I feel like it.
Exactly.
And like, you actually can't say anything back. So and you're gonna love me anyway. So, yeah, but dogs, like, it's a little different. And I had tried improv, but I just didn't like it. It just wasn't for me. I did like all the levels at UCB. I was working my way up through Groundlings, and I was like, do I like this? Am I having fun? And when I started doing stand-up, I was like, no.
This is it. Yeah, it's a single man.
One man.
One man. And that's, cat. It's very individualized. Yeah, because like cats, they're kind of doing their own thing.
But what I like, but it's interesting because it's like different things make my heart sing. So it's like, what I like about stand-up specifically is that you can write your own material and then perform it. And then also you can have the magic of whatever happens in the real moment on stage.
You don't have to wait for anybody to like, you're doing it.
Right. But with improv, like, unless you ask for a suggestion from the audience, you're usually not bringing, people from the stage usually aren't calling out while you guys are performing scenes.
That's true. Yeah.
But with stand-up, it's like, you can talk to people. Like, you can just do whatever the fuck you want.
It's great.
And that is what I love. It's just the freedom, ultimate freedom.
Yeah.
On the flip side, I like love creating my own, I've written many shows, haven't gone to air yet, but they will. Working on my feature right now. And it's like,
you actually did
love the collaboration. I love being on set. Like, when the sets are good and you're working, there's just like nothing better than collaborating with artists who have the same vision.
Yeah.
Artists with the same vision and like creating a story that you have been excited to tell.
Totally.
Is like, it's such a beautiful moment.
Yeah. Gosh, Whitney Cummings, she said something really interesting just about comedy, that when you're up on stage, you have to, interact with the crowd and handle the crowd, and you get immediate reaction of if the crowd is digging it or not. And it makes you really understand yourself. Do you think that that's true? Like, with your experience in comedy of like understanding yourself, like of reading a room and getting things really quick. How's your?
I think it's person to person, room to room, because there are some times where you're doing crowd work and you could just say anything and people will laugh. And you're like, Can you guys actually not give it to me if it wasn't that funny?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I got a random applause break the other night where I literally was like, can you guys stop? It wasn't that funny. Like, I don't know why we're applauding that. You know what I mean? I was almost sad. I was like, no, but what about the stuff I worked really hard on? What about that? So this offhanded remark that I made in passing, right? Like, sometimes there's just no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
And then other times, like just the other night, I had a situation where like crowd work for me is really fun. And
you're so good at it.
Thank you.
You are like you and Matt Rife and Andrew Schultz. Like I'm blown away by your
It's
crowd
crazy
work.
because my crowd work was popping off on TikTok and Instagram.
Literally, my next question was about you going viral. Like you were going viral.
And then I got banned on TikTok. I was getting 10,000 followers a day for my crowd work. It was insane. And then suddenly, boom, gone. And my Instagram, boom, strike. Like it just, everything came to a halt 2 years ago, and it has been a struggle. I've never recovered on TikTok, which is really sad. I tried starting a new Instagram, a new TikTok, and I had 99 followers after a month of posting 3 times a day. So it's like, let's not say I didn't try. It's hard. It's like, it takes a toll on you emotionally. Like the social media algorithm gods, if they do not shine on you, you might not have a career as easy as if they do, you know, and you have to work harder. And the things that go viral are sometimes things you don't even care about and don't work hard for at all, which is also really infuriating. Anyway, but going back to the crowd work, it's like, yeah, sometimes the other night I had this moment where like, it didn't matter what I said. Even if I thought it was like one of the funniest things I ever said, the crowd gave me nothing. And I was like, and I couldn't get out of it. I was like, I have never had a situation where I don't know how to get out of crowd work. And I was like, and it's one of those, it's like a bomb situation where I wasn't bombing, but I just was like, wow, okay, well, I guess this can still happen at any point for any reason, you know? And so it's interesting because maybe for Whitney, that's how she feels. But for me, I feel like every show is unique.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what's going to work until it's happening. Like sometimes, like even my best jokes might not work at a show.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, if that's my A joke that always kills and you guys are giving me nothing, like I'm just going to put a smile on and just keep trying. I'm not going to ever give up. Like I'm never just going to walk off the stage unless like there's violence or like something. And even then, let's get on camera so I can go viral. But like,
yeah, just give me the
let's
camera.
Use it. Oh my God.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't have that answer because for me, I'm like, anything can happen at any time. Like you could suddenly just lose the audience for almost no reason. And then you're like, okay, well, why did everyone just go away? Like, how do I win you back? And then you'll like do a joke that wins them back. And then it's like still not like skipping a beat or whatever. And you're just like, what's going on? Like we were just having so much fun 10 minutes ago, you know? So I think you learn, what I learn about myself every show is my resilience.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say like how to deal with people. It's like you can't, there's not one person that's in the world is exactly the same.
Yeah.
And so no crowd is going to be exactly the same.
So true.
So it's like, I can think that I figured out how to not fuck something up and then try that and it doesn't, I'm like, okay, so that wasn't the thing. So I don't know what happened. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? Or like maybe a comic before me had said something that I didn't know that when I like, it got touchy and weird and then like everyone remembered. I have no clue. Like sometimes like things just happen. So I think what I learn every show is like, I'm leaning more into me having fun on stage. That's why I started bringing the Rubik's Cube up. And
I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I've just been having a good time, like really just being confident up there and telling jokes that I'm like just doing a lot of new stuff and just trying as much as I can just so that I don't stay like stuck in what works because that is the opposite of growth.
Yep.
And so, you know,
you have to get uncomfortable all the time.
Yeah. So what I'm learning about myself is that now I'm starting to I'm willing to fail. Like I'm willing to fail to grow.
Yeah. And you know what? It's only, the thing about failure is it's like, they're just lessons of like helping you improve. Like you're climbing a mountain and you're like, okay, so I kind of fell down here. All right. You keep getting back up. You're like, all right, well, I'm going to, take another step. Or it's like, oh no, I went on the wrong path. And then you're like, all right, let me, figure out where this right path is. And then you're, it's still, just putting one foot in front of the other. And it's just sort of like these mini lessons. So I don't actually know if I even like view failure as failure. It's just like lessons along the way of climbing this mountain. And then once you've climbed that mountain, you're going to climb another mountain, in terms of like relationships or success or what is the best advice that you've ever gotten?
What a segue.
Like from like in terms of comedy.
The best advice I ever got in comedy was to not take advice from anyone. I
literally thought you were going to say something like that. That's really interesting.
If I took advice from every person I ever met in comedy, I would not be doing comedy.
Wow.
You should dress up. You should show your tits. You shouldn't show your tits. You should dress down. You should wear makeup. You shouldn't wear makeup. You should have your hair up. You should have your hair down. You shouldn't talk about sex. You should work clean. You should talk about sex. Everyone could shoulda, woulda, coulda me into nothing. And what works for one person might not work for another person. So I just try not to listen to anyone now and just do what feels right to me.
I love that.
The amount of people that have tried to tell me how to do comedy or not to tell a joke or why not to tell a joke. And I'm like, well, that's your opinion.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for your opinion.
Yeah.
People laughed at the joke. So why are you so upset? You, the comedian, what is your issue with it? If my audience liked it, so now if I feel like not telling a joke anymore, I won't. If I feel like telling a joke, I will. If I want to try something, I'm going to do it. If I don't want to try something, I'm not going to do it. So it's like, I'm just living by my own rules right now and trying to figure out where I feel powerful, confident, and funny.
I love that. So you're finding your, I love this idea that it's, we're constantly like, we come into this world, we come in with a very specific personality and skill set, and then like life sort of beats you down, and then we have to remember that, go back to that, and then become more of, who we are and like what our skill sets are and what our gifts are, and we have to like remember and lean into it. I kind of like that it's like you're just becoming more of you,
Yeah, I'm really sick of people in this industry telling you who you should be.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to tell you who I am.
Yeah.
And then the people who enjoy who I am
will find
me.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
This has been really, really amazing and exciting and thrilling.
Has it?
Yeah.
Are we sure? I don't really. Yeah. I feel like I don't remember a single thing that I've said.
It's kind of great.
It's probably for the best, honestly.
Honestly, like it's like you said, Bill.
Did you put alcohol in here, Tanner? I think I blacked out.
You got me.
Oh man, I'm wasted, man.
Yeah. Wait. How do you describe Bill Burr? Bill Burr is just like Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg pitched up.
Wait. Also, there's nothing written on the billboard. There's nothing written on the board now, so I feel lost. I need something. I need something to hold on to. Anything, Tanner. Tanner, I'm relying on your notes on the board.
Mark Wahlberg.
Wait. Do your Mark Wahlberg.
Wait, I got it. To hear it, but I got it. Can you write on the board the marvelous Mrs. Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah,
I love that.
It's too much.
I know. I'm sorry. You don't have to write anything. It's fine.
It's shorthand.
It's great.
You're a genius. You're a genius.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. And you guys can check Leah Lamarr on her Instagram and her TikTok. I love her videos. She's so funny.
You can be our 100th follower on TikTok.
No, she actually has lots of followers on Instagram.
On the other, I also have 159K on TikTok. But again, haven't grown since my account got banned. So welcome to hell. See you there. I'm Satan. See you, and if you're in New York, come to my New York Comedy Festival show November 12th.
Oh my God.
I'm headlining a New York Comedy Festival show.
This is amazing. How to Trap a Soulmate.
How to Trap Your Soulmate.
This is amazing.
The show we never talked about.
Yeah, the show we never talked about. Hold on. Before we are not leaving before we quickly
Tanner
talk
is
about
officially
this.
Being held hostage. Tanner, I still apologize.
Someone just call my dad.
Diddy. I was like, call Diddy. No. So real quick, just
Diddy is not my dad, for the record.
Susie, there's nothing that's ever been real quick with you.
Real quick.
Just in 45 minutes, wrap up.
Just tell us quickly, just about, so we can get out of here. But I'm really excited. Hold on, real quick. Real quick. That
should be the name of this podcast. Real quick. And it's a 9-hour-long podcast every podcast.
Tell us just about your special.
It's a headlining show at the New York Comedy Festival. It's just called How to Trap Your Soulmate. Mm-hmm. And it'll be half material, me talking about how I went from being eternally single to getting married in 7 months. Mm-hmm. And had nothing to do with getting pregnant
Yeah.
or trapping a man with fear.
yeah.
Had nothing to do with that. Actually, just liking each other. I know, shock, ew, weird. And then the other half of the show will be me bringing up single people or people in situationships or people in long-term committed relationships who can't get down the aisle, who want to get married. I will bring you up on stage and we will go through the situation and I will explain to you what is occurring.
So,
and if you're single, I will go through your dating profile.
Hinge profiles,
I will
Raya
annihilate
profiles, Bumble.
you.
Yeah.
I will rip it to shreds. I actually have advice for you too, by the way. I thought about this on the way here.
Oh my God, what? Tell me.
I don't know if I should on air.
Not? Why?
Okay, so Susie,
we're leaning in. This is the whole podcast. We're leaning in.
We faked you guys out with that ending. All right, so remember how we had talked about you wanted to be honest on, like I told you should be honest on dating apps and write that you're looking for a long-term committed partnership, marriage, family, blah, blah, blah.
I have that.
Correct. But do you also have on there the things that really matter to you that you tell guys on a first or second date and then you were always afraid it's the thing that scares them away?
I talk to dead people.
Yes.
and like, yeah. So
because,
sort of I have
because
this
to you, and because I hear about every date you've ever gone on and the fallout of any of them and what happens and what you think the communication breakdowns were or what the breakdown was. A lot of times you throw out there on the first date, all of you, and that is part of it. And you are afraid to tell them about it, but you're like, fuck it. They have to accept all of me. And so I'm going to tell them on the first date. And then you're like, oh, wait,
or
they
like
don't like
third or sometimes, I mean, sometimes it depends on
how many
the flow
dates
is.
did you go on with this guy, the British guy? Okay, so the first date. And
one date, well, there's lots of talking.
But that also goes to my point of, even if you get to date 3 or 4, and this is the most important thing to you, you might not have to even go through this phase with someone of like excitement and disappointment if you had put it on your profile and they saw that from the jump.
We didn't meet on Hinge. He just sent it to my DM.
Fine, but there are a lot of guys you have met online.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you put it out there, spiritually, you're opening up to everyone and saying, this is who I am in the dating pool of the universe.
Yeah.
This is what's important to me. If you do not like these things or these things bother you, go away from me. Like, no problem. All love. Let's be friends. Don't take me on any dates.
If you could only see this, what Tanner is doing a cute little like happy face, trapping your soulmate with this like.
I literally love it. I'm obsessed with it.
So cute.
It's really good. At first I thought it was Mr. Potato Head and I was like, ouch. And then I realized it's just very cute.
It looks
Wait, Tanner,
like
you have
Pac-Man.
many talents.
He's so talented.
This is
Thank you.
No, but
that is the speed at which you have just created the cutest little cartoon character I've ever seen.
I know.
Like out of nowhere,
adorable.
you just like created magic.
Aww.
Oh my God.
Is this the logo for your new show?
This
Yeah.
might be.
I think it might be.
I think so.
I'm gonna take a photo of it and just put it on the flyer.
Wonderful. I'll invoice you.
Perfect. Thank you. What is that? $10,000?
Oh, yeah, right.
Sorry, 20,000.
Way more.
My bad. Yeah.
Come on.
But
I can't afford you.
But I think I actually did. I said, there's a finite amount of words that you can use, and I'm like trying to like jam pack so much in. So I'm like,
we're gonna look at your dating profile after this.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? We'll come back. We'll come back and we'll sort it through.
Because I think it's pretty simple to say the things you want to say. So I'm like, what the fuck else are you saying that you think is important? That's not important.
Let's go. We're gonna. You know what? Fuck. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
Well, the thing is that I realized, like, when I really got down to the bare bones of being in a relationship with someone, I was really just choosing people who looked good on paper, and weren't great in person.
Okay. So this is one of like setting.
Interesting choice for your first photo.
What?
Let's see it.
This one.
Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. Never mind. Okay. I thought we were starting out with, okay, this is much better. Okay. I mean, hot.
What do we got going on here?
What do we got going?
This is a podcast.
Dissect me.
Okay, so the first thing says, felt cute, might delete later. And it's a gorgeous photo of Susie. Gorgeous, stunning, absolutely top notch.
Flip it around.
Oh, my bad.
Okay.
So that was a photo shoot I did. It was right after my mom died.
Jesus Christ.
But it was a great, like, I was, this was
the cheekbones are cheekboning.
Yeah.
The makeup is flawless. Like,
honestly, best
your mouth
diet
is
ever.
very sexual. Your hair looks great. Like, I'm here for all of this.
Sure.
Like, any man would be delusional not to swipe right after seeing that photo. But,
Aww.
anyone could post a good photo, could be edited. So we got to keep going
This
to be
was not-
sure.
yeah.
We know because we see you. But if I'm a guy who's never met you, I could be like, am I
Sure.
getting fucking catfished right now?
Sure.
So we're going to scroll. Then we've got a TikTok video. And I know it's a TikTok video because the logo from TikTok is on there.
Right. And then there's, hold on, wait, ready? So here.
So she's
So it was a video with like, basically like, we're all going to die, but do all the things you love. And
okay, so she's hot. She's in bikini. She's doing tennis. She's in the woods. She's in bikini. She's doing a photo shoot. She's in France, jet setter in a pool doing voiceover at having fun, dancing by herself.
I can't write down this fast. I can't write this down so
Skiing.
fast.
So I'm
Acting.
showing-
Wait, what the hell?
Oh, I'm showing all the highlights. It's okay.
We're almost done.
All right,
okay, her in a movie, having fun, being goofy. Okay, being silly. Okay, we're back at the top. Okay, together we could. Interesting you said together we could, but it's all just things of you being you.
But it's like together we could play tennis, together we could ski, together we could dance, together
Together
we
we
could
could be
have
in a
fun.
movie that I'm in.
No, but it's like
That photo shoot that I'm doing.
No, but it was like there was this it was a quick shot of like
Okay.
two people dancing, of like me and
This
Julian.
is you doing voiceover work. A lot of it's you at work, which is why I'm not here for
I
the
got it
together
from
we could
TikTok.
caption.
I mean, look, maybe I could change the caption.
No, I like this video because it shows who you are. But I don't know if the together we could is the right caption for this video.
Okay, so then I could change that.
Let's change the
I
caption.
can change the caption.
Unless you want this person to be your fan, in which case,
No.
okay.
I mean, like you want them to be supportive. You want them to like definitely be like your number one fan in the sense that like you feel really supported and they love you and blah blah blah. But like,
Okay, I'm gonna keep going.
Okay.
We'll instantly hit it off if you make me laugh, have lots of depth, and work on yourself constantly. You lead, make the plans, keep your word, and love and respect yourself. You're playful and love learning new things. I'm built for adventure. Cute.
In Los Angeles?
Well, that's why she doesn't live here anymore, Tanner.
No.
All right.
In New York?
yeah.
Okay, this year I really want to travel the world with friends to places that are on my bucket list, like Africa, tell great stories in films, TV, and work with people I greatly admire, respect, and love. I think we can change that one.
Okay.
Well, I'm only saying this based off of you saying there's not enough space in the profile.
Yeah, I could change that for sure.
But let me keep looking.
Mhm.
Okay, we have your age, your height, where you currently are. Okay, there are some other things on here. Okay, good.
Mhm.
We got a dog. Oh, we got a dog. My freaking grandson.
Yeah,
Godson.
yeah.
He's like
Your nephew.
my nephew. He's everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes great actress, writer, producer, creator, singer, songwriter, underwater basket weaver at Marvel, Netflix, WB, etc. Duke University, pop off queen,
Hey.
spiritual, born in. Okay, great. Okay, great. This all feels true to me.
Yeah.
Okay, life partner, looking for my man/soulmate, build a beautiful life together, and to be in an extraordinary relationship that complements us both and makes us better as people. Are you a dog person? Because
Charlie.
Yeah, he's so cute. My best blue steel. Okay, hot. I want someone who challenges me to grow and be better, is honest, wise, hilarious, can't do without funny, courageous, kind, high EQ, super generous, brilliant, spiritual, believes in God, who knows himself and his shadow, looking for magic. I think this is the section that we can actually edit.
Oh, okay.
And I think we just...
What do we tweak?
let me just keep going through and then
Yeah.
we'll come back to it.
Okay.
Me and my best friend. Okay. The one thing you should know about me is heart of an artist and want to understand human consciousness, Duke tennis player and NCAA champ. I love dancing. Oh, you could edit this section.
Mhm.
This one thing you should know about me is, the one thing you should know about me is all these things. There's not one thing. The one thing you should know. It's like, actually.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
right.
you should know. No, I love that that's a setup. I love dancing, laughing, animals, skiing, healthy food, campfire, interesting podcasts, and striving to access God and the divine. Okay. It's like you're so close to saying it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's that exact section that you can add the thing. Add the like,
hey.
And I speak to dead people.
I speak to dead people. Hey,
and I'm psychic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I am psychic. But
it's also kind of, it's all encompassing. Like it's not like, hey, I'm psychic. It's actually like, I have this beautiful relationship with God that I, talk to. And then because you have a closer relationship, you end up getting these superpowers or you get these downloads. And so sort of this ability of being prophetic, it's really like you're downloading God in a sense, So that's more of, so it's like hard to articulate in a quick little soundbite. And also like Luke Cook was like, you're not going to meet him on Hinge and you're not going to meet him on Raya.
But
like,
I also told you to go to these places where they have like mindset. Yes.
So then you know what? Maybe I just cancel it all and then,
But the thing that's interesting is that when I got honest on the dating app, I met the person in real life immediately
because
after
you
that.
Got super clear.
Because I sent the signal out.
Yeah.
So
I sent the bat signal.
Because I was unafraid to finally say what it was I was looking for.
Yeah.
So I think I would just drive it home. Like, I would just say, instead of like striving to access God and the divine, be like, my relationship with God is the most important thing to me. Mm-hmm. And
without sounding it like too preachy, my only thing is like when I hear that, I go, oh, like it's like suddenly,
And I used to think that if I told a guy that I wanted to be married and have kids, that it would make guys go, ooh, I don't want to date her.
Well,
it's like,
but I think it's like trying to
find. But it's who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like, you literally talk about having conversations with dead people all the time.
Yeah, but that's also, well, it's also
Do you
like
know what
this,
I mean?
Yeah.
Like you literally, like the psychic messages that you receive on the regular are like constant.
Yeah. It's all the voices inside my head.
Yeah. Literally. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah, you're just getting these, you're like leaving more room for space. And Tanner is now, okay, I think we have to wrap it up. I think we have to wrap it up. This has been very helpful and very insightful because I think what I'm hearing is that if you write it down, it'll come true because I think when you write things down is when you get very clear and when you say to the universe and when you say to God.
You are unafraid of showing people who you really are and what you really want.
Yeah.
And someone who like knows you very personally.
Yeah.
The amount of times that we talk about your psychic revelations or the amount of dead people who've come to you in your sleep and the conversations you have and how many people you've walked into the light and how many times.
I'm just getting comfortable with it now. Like having this be on the podcast, I'm like, oh, damn.
And how many times like we've talked about this being something you are afraid to bring up to a guy lets me know that it's something that you need to put out there.
Yeah, I think you're right. I love you.
I love you too. I just want you to find the guy.
Yeah, me too.
I really want you to find the guy, especially the guy who deserves you and you deserve them. And it is like a beautiful synergistic match.
I agree.
It's two people living in a magical, harmonious relationship. And I think if you get really real and really honest and just fucking say it, the right guy is going to be like, oh, fuck yeah, me too. Or like, either I'm the same way and like, I can't believe I just met this person.
Yeah.
And then you have this union where like you guys are just like on another dimension.
Totally.
Or you meet someone who's like, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. I need to know more and I need to be around this person.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah.
One more time for the cameras.
I think you're right.
Oh my God.
Leah
that's
Lamarr?
so hot. I just got wet.
I think you're right.
The best.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I actually think just writing it down, even like that makes a lot of sense to me that when you got super clear that you found Adam right away.
Literally right away.
That makes so much sense.
After dating someone who was not giving me the things that I was wanting, what am I going to do? Just stay around thinking this person's going to change?
Yeah.
Or that eventually, no, you deserve to have what you want in this life now, not in the future.
Yep.
Anyway, that's I'm done preaching.
No.
Sermon is over.
You're right.
Leah Lamarr, my God, that's so
You're right.
hot. Thank you.
This was a blast. I love you so much. Thank you for this was so helpful. I'm so glad. I can't wait for your special and to eviscerate people and help them because I think that is actually like a hugely hilarious bit, but also I think it's super helpful and insightful. So
people are afraid to be who they really are.
Yeah.
And they're afraid to tell people who they really are because they think that they're weird or they think that other people are going to have preconceived notions about the things that they're telling them or saying about themselves. And it's like, you don't need 100 guys. You just need one guy.
That's it.
Or girl.
Yeah.
Or them. Like whoever it is. Like you just need one person. Unless you're poly, in which case, I don't know how to help. But
that's confusing.
Well, I just don't have advice.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been there. But women, dudes, trying to get down the aisle, trying to find their person. I got your back.
Okay. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Woo-woo. Hi, guys. If you liked this episode, please comment, like, and subscribe so you can see our latest episodes. Thank you so much for watching.
A whole nother level.